Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. This is the 20th episode of the story, where Naruto is raised by Jiraya and Tsunade. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel after watching the video. So, let us begin. It's a pity we have to abandon this village, Hiden said, sounding a little saddened. I couldn't even get started on the construction of the Jashin temple. I thought there was already a Jashin temple in the Land of Springs. Wasn't there where you were trained? Kakuzu asked. Well, yes, but the temple was in the middle of fucking nowhere. Jashin-sama would be mostly pleased if I build a temple to him in the heart of a ninja village. Oh well, guess that another slaughter will have to do, Hiden said, with his usual sadistic glee. Do as you wish, Kakuzu apathetically replied, as from their vantage point, they watched the activity going on in the village below them. A messenger had arrived with the news that the Taki resistance, alongside reinforcements from Konoha and Suna, were heading towards the village. Kakuzu and Hiden, pretending they cared about keeping the village, had ordered everybody to put a defense and repel the invaders, even if they did know that the village was already lost and those poor idiots would die for nothing. Well, not for nothing. Maybe if they managed to kill some enemy ninjas before going down, their lives would weaken Akatsuki's enemies even if just a little. Even if he would never admit it, Kakuzu felt it was a pity he couldn't keep the village for longer. It was a place that he hated like no other, and having it under his control would have been his ultimate revenge. Anyway, I'll better get everything ready. You stay here and keep them busy. Try to kill some of them if you can, Kakuzu told him as he turned around, and walked away. How are you so sure the Jinchuriki will come to us? Hiden asked. I know how she thinks, Kakuzu confidently said, before body flickering away. I know how she thinks, Hiden mockingly repeated. I'm Kakuzu and I'm a fucking smartass that knows everything, yet doesn't worship Jashin-sama. Oh well, at least he gave me the fun part of the mission. Meanwhile, not far away from there, said group of ninjas, about 500 strong, were leaping from one tree branch to another, getting closer to Takigakure. The Konoha and Suna ninja would expect traps or an ambush the more they got closer, but the Taki ninjas told them that the Akatsuki wouldn't bother with that. The secret entrances to Takigakure were pretty much bottlenecks, and the defenders would use that to their advantage. That's why they decided to send their strongest asset to deal with such situation first, Naruto Uzumaki. The blonde Jinchuriki would infiltrate Takigakure on his own, create some ruckus with his clones and summons, and thus allowing the bulk of their forces to enter the village unimpeded. Right now, he was being led by a Takigakure Jonin, a blonde-haired man he remembered from the Chunin exams as one of Fu's teammates. Keigan was his name. They stopped when they reached a small waterfall that fed into a lagoon. Here we are, Keigan announced. So where's this secret entrance? Behind that waterfall? Naruto guessed. It is, the Taki Jonin confirmed. That's kind of cliché, Naruto pointed out, crossing his arms over his chest. It's not a direct way into the village, Keigan replied, a little annoyed. Behind this waterfall there's a grotto. Said grotto is pretty much a maze where you will get lost unless you know where to go. The blonde Taki man handed Naruto a small scroll. Follow the indications on this scroll, and you'll be able to reach an entrance at the edge of the lake. Naruto nodded as he took the scroll. Understood, he replied, as he gave Keigan a thumbs up. Make sure you're quick, because the moment I return to the others and tell them you're inside, we'll wait only 10 minutes to attack. Will you be able to clear a zone big enough for our forces to enter unimpeded in such little time? Naruto smirked confidently. I'll only need 5 minutes. For the sake of our village, hope you can back those words up, Keigan replied. Anyway, now you'll be on your own. Good luck. And with that, Keigan leaped away, leaving Naruto to his mission. Despite his initial impression, he had to admit that the secret entrance wasn't as lame as he thought. Without the scroll telling him where to go, he would have gotten lost in no time. Or maybe I could summon an army of clones and have them move around until one of them found the exit, Naruto thought, pleased with his idea. The blonde Jinchuriki exited from a small hole in the ground that was hidden by several strategically placed bushes. From that point, he could see the village of Takigakure. Most of it was in the island in the middle of the lake, built around the roots of the great tree, with a single bridge connecting it to the mainland. There were also several clusters of houses built at the edge of the lake as well. Okay, those houses at the edge of the lake look like they're from civilians, so I shouldn't worry too much about them. Now, the best way to call their attention would be to attack the bridge. But how? This requires a clever, intricate plan like any other, Naruto said, as he started to think for a couple minutes. After doing some thinking, the blonde Konoha ninja grinned, and made his trademark hand seal. 100 Naruto clones appeared besides him in an instant. Everybody, charge! Seek the enemies, and kick their asses, the original Naruto shouted. His command was met with a chorus of, yeah, let's go, let's show them our strength, and, oddly enough, a couple of, I'm hungry. The Takigakure defenders, composed by mercenaries, cultists, and a few Taki ninjas that decided to defect to Kakuzu's side, were soon swarmed by a tsunami of orange and black. We're under attack, a thug cried. The hell? Why do these guys look the same? Another one asked. They're clones, you idiot, a cultist told them. Impossible. Nobody should be able to produce so many clones, the first thug angrily fired back, as he destroyed a clone of Naruto. We can, several Naruto clones replied in unison, almost indignant at the mere thought of casting doubt on their boss' abilities. The flash attack of the Naruto army quickly pushed the defenders of the bridge back into the main village, with the clones following suit. Sadly, by that point, most of the ninjas guarding the village had been alerted of the invasion, and quickly run to face the army of orange-clad clones, which quickly began to dwindle in number as kunai, shuriken and destructive elemental ninjutsu flied at them. Well, so much for the clones, Naruto said, as he leaped into the air, landing in the surface of the lake. He bit his thumb, and made several hand seals. Guess I'll need to bring the heavy hitters. Summoning jutsu. Naruto slammed his palm on the water, creating a giant cloud of smoke, as well as producing some waves due to the water that has been displaced. When the smoke dispelled, everybody could see a gigantic toad, his rusty red skin covered in multiple warts. He was wearing a blue vest, had a short, to him, blade attached to his belt, and his lips were holding on a still smoking pipe. The giant toad took a few moments to contemplate his surroundings. Naruto, the giant toad asked, noticing the blonde standing on his head. Is this the village you told me about? Yup. Naruto enthusiastically nodded. Are you ready for the action, Bunta? Gamma Bunta, or Bunta, as he was sometimes called, unsheathed his blade to state his answer. I just hope it won't be just the two of us, Gamma Bunta stated, as he prepared to attack a group of mercenaries and Jashin cultists. Nah, we're just clearing the way for the rest to join us, Naruto reassured him. Good, because otherwise this would be kind of boring, Gamma Bunta said, as he leaped to the edge of the island in the center of the lake, creating a quake and producing more waves on the lake. Come on, come at me, ants. Gamma Bunta taunted, as he swung his blade at a group of enemies, some which avoided the swipe, others not so fortunate. Boy, you can hear the sound of the battle even from here. The 10 minutes long gone, the Takigakure resistance and their Konoha and Suna allies decided to move and attack. They were split in 3 groups, one for each secret entrance the village had. They would attack from 3 different sides in a pincer maneuver, and meet in the middle. I can believe that Naruto went on his own like that, the madman, Kiba continued, shaking his head. The cocky bastard must think he can take on a village on his own. Kakashi's animal squad was also taking part in the battle. Though rather than direct combatants, they have been appointed as Fu's bodyguards due to their close friendship with the female Jinchuriki, as well as their tracking skills just in case Fu disappeared, either on her own, or if she was abducted by the enemy. They were jumping from one branch to another like the rest of their group, while Fu flew above them. Naruto knows he isn't doing that. All he's doing is draw attention to him so we have a bigger window of opportunity to strike, Kakashi reminded him. Alright then, what secret entry are we going to use? Tamaki asked. No one, Fu interjected before Kakashi could answer. We'll attack from the air. Fu? Maybe you can do that, but no one else here can fly, Tamaki uneasily asked. Fu shot a smirk at the cat Kunoichi, which sent chills down her spine. Then, without any kind of warning, Fu dived and, in one fell swoop, grabbed Shino, Kiba and Tamaki in a two-armed hug. Kakashi-san, grab onto me, I can't carry any more people in my arms. Fu told the silver-haired ninja. Fu. Just what are you doing? The surprised Jonin asked in shock. The secret entrances take too much time. I prefer if we take a more direct route. And yes, I know that you guys are my escorts and I'm not going to leave you behind. But I will if you don't make up your mind. Fu protested. Seeing that the Taki Jinchuriki was gaining altitude, Kakashi jumped and latched onto one of her legs. The additional weight added to the already heavy load didn't seem to hinder Fu in the slightest, as they continued to gain altitude. Kakashi silently thanked that this girl wasn't one of his students. Fu continued flying as easily as if she wasn't carrying anybody, her eyes locked into the thick forest on a plateau that hid Takigakure. While those orange eyes usually shone with the glint of youth and happiness, now they reflected her determination and steel-hard resolve to take back her home. Fu, I know this battle means a lot to you but, Kakashi began. Shouldn't we attack alongside the rest of the group? If we arrive too early, we will find ourselves outnumbered and away from backup. Naruto should have taken care of that, Fu replied, as she pierced the forest that surrounded Taki, skillfully avoiding all the thick and lush branches without having to slow down. Plus, we aren't going to take part in the main battle. We aren't? Kiba and Tamaki asked in unison. Fu, you can't dash, Kakashi was going to say before being interrupted. Our mission will be to find and rescue Shibuki, Fu firmly stated. You're a tracking squad, you will be able to track him, right? And taking advantage of the chaos of the battle, we'll take him to safety while the rest of our forces take back the city. Genius plan. Kakashi didn't share Fu's optimism. Fu, there's the chance that Akatsuki might be counting on you trying to rescue Shibuki, and thus making you leave the security of the bulk of the army, Shino pointed out. I already thought of that. But that's why you're also here, silly. You're also my escorts, right? So as long as you guys keep close to me, nothing will go wrong. Fu excitedly said, as her lips curved into an innocent smile. The bulk of the Taki resistance and their allies took very little time to arrive at the village and join the battle. Thanks to Naruto drawing all the attention to him, the rest of the ninja could get into the village with little problem, and engage the enemies. Come on everybody. For Takigakure. Let's kick these invaders out of our home, a Taki ninja shouted, with his comrades cheering back. Alright then, I think I can fight normally now. Gamabunta, cover us while we liberate the village. Naruto said, as he jumped off of the giant toad, as he pulled out and activated his wind blade. You got it, brat. Gamabunta replied. Naruto landed in the water, and rushed towards the central island, eyeing the ongoing battles and wondering which one he should join. Naruto-kun. The voice of his girlfriend coming from above snapping him from his thoughts. Looking upwards, Naruto saw Hinata flying down at him. Haku was with her and, oddly enough, he was flying as well. Hinata Heim. Haku. Naruto cheered, waving at them. Good to see you're here. Now we can fight the three of us together. Indeed. Let's end this battle as quick as possible so the losses for Taki and our forces are kept to a minimum, Haku agreed, as he landed near Naruto. Hinata remained floating above them. Haku? Were you flying? Naruto asked, scratching his head. The ice ninja shook his head. No. Hinata-san has become proficient in her abilities to share her flight with somebody else. So far I can only carry one person with me, but I'm working to expand that limit, Hinata chimed in. That way, the assault squad can be a flying unit. Neat idea, Haim. Though for the time being, we won't need it, Naruto said, as he directed his eyes to the battle in front of them. There doesn't seem to be any trace of the Akatsuki, and the ones defending the village are made of rabble. Thugs, mercenaries, and screaming cultists that look scary but aren't that though. Okay then. Let's clear the battlefield by the time the Akatsuki show up, Hinata agreed. Suddenly, an ear-piercing scream echoed through the village. The battle stopped for a few seconds, as everybody directed their eyes to the canopy of the great tree, where the scream had come from. Then, a mass of black creatures emerged from the canopy of the tree, and rushed to the battlefield, some of them running, those who had wings flying. What are those abominations? Hinata asked in horror. With her Tensigen, she could see them close. Ugly, nightmarish creatures with inky black skin, long, bony limbs, several maws full of razor-sharp long teeth, multiple eyes across their uneven bodies, or no eyes at all. I don't know, but I have the feeling that they aren't on our side, Haku uneasily said, as his hand grabbed a handful of sunbon from his ninja tool pouch. Oh no! Not those monsters again, a Taki ninja cried in despair, taking a step back. You know those things? Naruto asked the Taki ninja. The fearful Taki man nodded. The cultists summoned them when they first attacked us, but there weren't so many of them before. Of course, it would be naive on our part to think that this would be easy and that Akatsuki wouldn't have a nasty surprise in stock for us, Naruto said, sounding a bit annoyed, but he quickly lightened up. But if there's no challenge, there's no fun. Hinata, Haku, let's focus on those creatures while the rest of our forces deal with the human opponents. Alright, the two of them chorused in unison, as they followed Naruto towards the incoming charge of demonic creatures. Meanwhile, not far away from there, but far enough from the main battle, Fu and Kakashi's animal squad had located the Akatsuki, and were heading towards their alleged location, with Shino leading the group. Given the threat Kakuzu made, Fu guessed that Shibuki wouldn't be far away from them. How do you know where they are? Kakashi asked his quiet student. During our brief confrontation, I had a Kikai beetle latched onto the Akatsuki that was chasing Fu. Said beetle is now releasing a pheromone only my hive of Kikai can smell, Shino explained. Good one, Shino. I'll have to give you a really big reward for being so efficient. Fu cheerfully said, winking at her boyfriend. Shino blushed for a few seconds. That's very nice of you, but let's leave the celebrations for the moment the Akatsuki is defeated and Taki is again free of its grasp. Akamaru then barked. Guys, Akamaru can smell him as well. Kiba stated. He says that he remembers the foul scent of his chakra. Wherever they go, they won't evade our senses. Alright then, everybody, prepare for an imminent fight. And Fu, stay close to us. I know what you must be feeling right now, but don't stray away, that's what Akatsuki wants. Kakashi sternly stated, looking at Fu with his one visible eye. Don't worry, I won't let those bastards capture me so easily, Fu replied. We're heading out of the village, Tamaki mentioned. And indeed, the others noticed that they were heading towards the forests west of Taki. I think they're moving, Kiba added. My guess is that they know we're coming, and are taking us to a trap. Or they just simply want to isolate us from the rest of our allies, Kakashi stated. Probably both. All of them tensed up the moment they left the village and entered the forest. Now, they would be alone. Whatever Akatsuki had prepared, it wouldn't be pretty. Fu, do you know if there's something around here? Something the Akatsuki could use against us? Tamaki asked the green-haired girl. Fu placed a finger under her lips, as she started to think if there is anything special about the forest, but nothing came to mind. She shook her head. As far as I know, there are nothing but trees. Kilometers and kilometers of trees, Fu replied. Remember that Kakuzu used to be a Takigakure ninja. It's probable that he knows secrets about the village and its surroundings many of the younger Taki ninjas such as yourself might ignore, Shino pointed out. If you say so, Fu replied, shrugging again. Though I won't let my guard down. Too bad we didn't take Hinata with us. With those eyes of her, she could be able to see any potential trap in advance, Kiba said. Maybe in another life. But now, we'll have to do without an Hyuga to help us, Shino replied. They continued leaping from one branch to another, until Akamaru started to bark. Kiba? Tamaki asked. Akamaru said that they've stopped. I think they're ready to fight, Kiba explained the others. And so are we. Fu firmly shouted, punching her palm. They arrived to a clearing in the forest. In the middle of the clearing, lying on his side, with his arms and legs restrained by ropes, laid Fubuki, the former, hopefully not for long, leader of Takigakure. Fu couldn't help but gasp in shock upon seeing her leader and big brother-like figure. Shibuki, she cried, while repressing her urges to speed towards him. Even she knew they were using him as the bait for a trap. Let's help Shibuki, but stay close to each other, and watch for any trap or ambush. It's not a matter of if, but of when, Kakashi instructed, as he uncovered his Sharingan. The 4 members of the animal squad landed around Shibuki, each one of them facing to a different cardinal point, while Fu landed beside Shibuki, and quickly dropped on her knees, untied him, and checked if he was okay. Shibuki. Are you okay? Did those mean guys hurt you? Do you need something? Fu hurriedly asked as she untied her leader. Oh my Kami, you look awful. Shino, I need you to heal him a little. Fu, you have to leave. They used me to lure you out of the village. The Akatsuki are here, a panicked Shibuki stammered. We're already aware of that, Shibuki-san, Kakashi told him, without dropping his fighting stance. By the way, do you think you can fight? We're going to need all the possible help. As Fu helped him to sit up, Shibuki shook his head. On top of the daily beatings I got from the guards, those bastards barely fed me. I can barely stand on my feet. Shino, go and heal Shibuki. I believe you have a spare soldier pill, right? Give one to Shibuki, Kakashi ordered. With that, you should be able to provide us some assistance. Assistance that, in the end, will fail to make a difference, new, raspy voice grumbled. Everybody saw how Kakuzu and Haiden landed in front of them. They immediately turned towards their direction, but without leaving their backs uncovered. Who knows how many allies the Akatsuki still had? Hehe, you were right. Those retards fell right into our trap, despite being so fucking obvious what it was. Haiden laughed. What is your trap, may I ask? Shino asked. You lured us to this clearing, but you didn't even ambush us. You blew the element of surprise by announcing your arrival. If this is a trap, it's a very poor one. Didn't your sensei teach you that a ninja must learn to see through deception, or, as more commonly said, appearances can be deceiving? Kakuzu asked in a somewhat mocking tone, as his hands formed hand seals, before slapping Haiden's bare chest. 5 Purple Ray Barrier. Suddenly, Haiden started to glow with a purple light, and a purple-colored beam of chakra fired from his body into the sky. 4 other beams fired from different parts around their position. The 4 peripheric rays started to curve towards the central one, until the 5 rays converged, creating a dome-shaped purple chakra barrier around the area. And now, the trap is complete, Kakuzu continued. The 5 Purple Ray Barrier is a secret jutsu of Takigakure they used back in my day to protect the village, but not anymore since I stole it. It's a powerful barrier that uses a human being as focal point and it slowly feeds into their life force. Once the focal point dies, the barrier will go down. Why are you telling us this? Tamaki demanded. She was getting some really bad vibes from Kakuzu's overconfidence. Because I'm immortal, you dumb bitch. There's no way that barrier will go down until Kakuzu or myself decides to take it down. Haiden shouted, laughing maniacally. Meaning that you're now trapped here with us, with no reinforcements, and no chance to escape. And if by some miracle you're able to kill Haiden, Kakuzu said, as he briefly eyed his partner. You will have my eternal gratitude. Yeah. Haiden cheered, before Kakuzu's words registered in his brain, and shoot his partner an indignant look. Wait, what? Enough chit-chat, we have a job to do, Kakuzu said, as he started to make hand seals. Earth release, Earth Dragon bullets. A giant dragon head made of mud formed in front of Kakuzu. It opened its jaws, and fired a volley of mud bullets at the group of 6, which jumped away in different directions, while Fu deployed her wings and took off to the sky. Let the slaughter begin. Haiden hollered, as he leaped towards Tamaki, ready to strike her down with his scythe. Shit! Tamaki cursed as she parried the powerful blow with her bladed gauntlets. Still, Haiden was undeterred, and in his mad frenzy continued to deliver a flurry of furious swipes at the cat Kunoichi, who could do nothing but defend while the demented cultist pushed her back with each swipe. Come on, little girl, put on a better show. Make your death worth something. Haiden cackled as he continued to attack. Suddenly, he heard a loud buzz, and looked upwards as a shadow was cast over the two of them. Much to his surprise, he saw a massive swarm of beetles angrily buzzing and flying at him. What the fuck? Bugs? Like, fucking seriously, the pissed Akatsuki shouted, as the swarm of insects forced him to disengage Tamaki and jump back. Fong passing Fong. Suddenly, Haiden saw 2 drilling tornadoes flying towards him. The cultist was barely able to dodge them, shredding part of his Akatsuki cloak. When the tornadoes stopped spinning, they revealed to be Kiba and Akamaru, who landed between Tamaki and Shino. One with bugs, the other with a dog. Just what kind of ninjas are you? Haiden asked, almost indignant. The ones who are going to kick your sorry ass. Tamaki replied, as her hands flew through hand seals. Fire release, blistering firecat. Tamaki breathed a stream of fire, which quickly took the shape of a giant cat, rushing on all fours towards Haiden. And I guess that you use cats, right? Fucking flea-ridden pests, Haiden said, making no effort in dodging the attack. The fire cat crashed against him, and he was soon engulfed by a fiery torrent of flames. Yes. Direct hit. Well done, Tamaki. Kiba congratulated his teammate, who smiled proudly in return. However, when the fires dispelled, Haiden was still there, completely unscathed. So, that was all? Haiden mockingly asked. Tamaki and Kiba stared at the Akatsuki in shock, their mouths wide agape. It seems he may be an immortal after all, Shino observed. Meanwhile, a few meters from the clash against Haiden, Kakashi, Fu, and Shibuki engaged Kakuzu. Fu was engaging him in hand-to-hand combat, while Kakashi and Shibuki supported her from afar. You didn't learn anything from our previous duel, did you? Kakuzu asked, as he and Fu traded blows. Whenever their fists clashed, a small shockwave was produced. Fu gritted her teeth in irritation. Things are different now. I have my friends backing me up. And I do have my partner as well, for all what it's worth, Kakuzu nonchalantly replied, as he blocked a lateral kick with both arms. But even if I was alone, the result would be the same. You only saw a smidge of my power. Show me your full power, then. Fu challenged him. Before Kakuzu could answer, the sound of 1,000 birds chirping could be heard. The Taki Akatsuki disengaged Fu and jumped upwards, barely avoiding Kakashi's lightning blade coming from the side, before the copy ninja could skewer him. Word of advice, Kakashi Hataki, Kakuzu stated as his feet touched the ground again. Assassination jutsu tend to work better when they don't make a noise so loud it can be heard in the entire continent. Kakashi remained silent as the blue electricity coating his hand flickered away, and merely glared at the masked Akatsuki with anger-filled eyes. Kakuzu ignored Kakashi and directed his stare back at Fu. "If you want to skip the warm-up and go directly into the heat of the battle, I'm more than happy to comply," Kakuzu replied, in an oddly satisfied tone. Hiden. The scythe-wielding Akatsuki was busy fighting the 3 Chunin of the animal squad. "The fuck you want, Kakuzu? Don't you see I'm busy murdering some brats?" Hiden hollered at him. "The Jinchuriki asked us to go all out on her," Kakuzu said, as he removed his cloak, and tossed it away, revealing a body full of Stitch's scars. "I'm going to do it." Hiden's anger instantly evaporated, and a sadistic grin appeared in his face. The Jashin cultist disengaged the 3 Chunin, and jumped towards Kakuzu. "Why didn't you say it before? I love when we go all out," Hiden said in glee. The 3 Chunin took advantage of the brief pause, and rejoined their sensei and the 2 Takigakure ninja. "Hey, what the hell is going on?" Kiba asked. "I'm not sure, but whatever they plan to do, we won't like it," Kakashi said. Kakuzu then bent over, and everybody could see that there were 4 different masks sewn to his back. The masks then started to tremble, as if they tried to break from Kakuzu's body, which they did after struggling for some seconds. Turns out those masks were attached to 4 inky black beings made by a mass of pulsating threads. Upon escaping Kakuzu, they placed themselves in front of the 2 Akatsuki. More threads emerged from the huge gap that was now on Kakuzu's back, and started to stitch the skin together. "I think I'm going to throw up," Tamaki moaned, green to the gills. I remember Hinata saying that Kakuzu's body was nothing like she saw before. "I guess this is what she meant," Shino deduced, remaining as impossible as ever. "The number of enemies now matches our group. And we don't even know what those monsters even do," Shibuki observed, as he eyed the newcomers. "Oh, you're going to find out really soon," Kakuzu said as he made 3 hand seals. The monster with the red-lipped mask, which looked like a tiger, opened its mouth. Fire release, searing migraine. The thread monster exhaled a massive breath of fire that scorched the earth and burned any nearby plant or tree as it advanced. The Konoha ninjas jumped away, but the Taki duo decided to counter the attack. "Fu!" Shibuki called, as he made several hand seals. "I know," the green-haired girl replied, mimicking his actions. Water release, water wall. Fu and Shibuki expelled 2 cones of water each at the incoming firestorm, Fu's packing more power than Shibuki's. A cloud of steam flooded the battlefield when the 2 elemental forces met, and Kakuzu's attack was nullified. "Guys, are you okay?" Fu called. "Yes. That was close, good one, Fu," Tamaki said from above, perched on a tree branch. "I thought that man was an earth release user. An attack of such scale would have only been possible if the Akatsuki had a fire affinity," Shino noted. "Double affinity then? Remember Sakura," Kiba pointed out. "Your conjectures couldn't be any wronger," Kakuzu said, as he made the ram seal. The monster with the bird-faced mask opened its beak. "Wind release, pressure damage. Wind 2? He can't have 3 affinities." Tamaki protested. The bird-masked monster released a monstrously powerful gale, that instantly dispelled the steam, teared apart tree branches and small plants, and naturally, blew away all the opposing ninjas, Fu included. With just those 2 attacks, Kakuzu had already doubled the expanse of the forest clearing. "Ugh," Kiba groaned, as he removed several branches from his body, as he tiredly stood up. "Just what's with this dash, Kiba, look out!" Tamaki screamed. "Die, you infidel!" Before he had time to react, Kiba saw Hiden leaping towards him, ready to cut him open with that 3-bladed scythe. Kiba managed to pull 2 kunai from his ninja tool pouch, and parried the hit. Like with Tamaki before, Haiden continued to deliver vicious swings. Kiba managed to defend himself, but Haiden's blows carried a lot of power, and his weapon had a greater range. Akamaru! Kiba shouted. Akamaru rushed towards his master with a loud bark, and leaped at Haiden. The startled Akatsuki disengaged Kiba and raised his scythe defensively towards the incoming dog. Akamaru clenched his jaws across the scythe's handle, trying to wrestle it away from Haiden. "How you dare to touch the high priest's sacred scythe, you flea-ridden bitch!" Haiden hollered, as he tried to wrestle the scythe from the snarling dog. "Keep him like that, Akamaru," Kiba said, as he dashed towards them. However, much to his horror, he realized the fire monster was aiming another of those fire attacks towards them. "Oh shit! Oh no, you won't!" Tamaki's voice said, as the cat Kunoichi delivered a flying double kick to the monster's side, making it to release the fire attack into the sky. "You owe me one." Haiden, meanwhile, managed to retrieve his scythe from Akamaru's grasp, but as he did, he was unable to dodge Kiba lunging at him, ready to slash him with his elongated nails. His face and exposed part of his chest felt the pain of Kiba's slashed. "God damn it. What the fuck you think you dash, lightning blade?" Despite the initial sound, Kakashi's trademark jutsu hit its mark, and pierced the Jashin cultist's heart from behind, running him his arm through, his still electrified hand bursting from his chest. Haiden, however, looked more angry rather than in pain. "You don't seem to understand what immortality means, do you, you retard?" Haiden asked, as he grabbed Kakashi's hand, keeping him stuck. "I had to test it to see if it was true," was Kakashi's answer. "After all, I'm not going to take the enemy's word for granted." "Whatever, dude." "Kakuzu!" Haiden hollered. Another one of Kakuzu's monsters, this time one with a mask that looked like a horned demon, leaped towards them. Its body started to crackle with electricity as Kakuzu made the snake seal. Lightning release, false darkness. The demon-masked monster opened its mouth, releasing a stream of lightning bolts at the startled Kakashi. "This is bad," the copy ninja distressingly though, trying in vain to pull his right hand from Haiden's chest. Before the lightning could strike, he used his left arm and, without the aid of seals, tried to use his signature jutsu once again. Lightning blade. With his electrified hand, Kakashi managed to swat away the lightning attack. Then, he felt that Haiden was no longer grabbing him, and pulled his hand from the hole he had made. However, Haiden spun over his feet, ready to deliver an horizontal spinning slash with his scythe. Kakashi jumped back, but wasn't fast enough, and the scythe slashed his chest, piercing his flak jacket, and drawing some blood. "Yes. Ha 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 ha. You'll make a fine sacrifice to Jashin-sama, copy ninja," Haiden said, as he licked Kakashi's blood. While Team Kakashi dealt with Haiden and some of Kakuzu's monsters, Fu hadn't lost sight of her initial goal, and flew to face Kakuzu once again. The masked Akatsuki didn't fail to notice the enraged Jinchuriki. It's rare to see a prey seeking their predator with such energy. Kakuzu deadpanned as he engaged into another brutal hand-to-hand duel with the green-haired Jinchuriki. "Are you that foolish to believe that you have a chance against me?" "I have more than a chance," Fu yelled, as a tornado started to form in her fist. Hurricane punch. Fu's punch produced a powerful wind in every direction strong enough to push Kakuzu back. Before he could have time to react, Fu jumped and tried to deliver a roundhouse kick to the head. But Kakuzu's reflexes were sharper than she thought, and expertly grabbed her by the ankle. In a display of monumental force, Kakuzu then slammed Fu against the ground multiple times. "Leave her alone," Shibuku shouted, as he leaped at Kakuzu with a blade made of water in his hands. Kakuzu merely chucked Fu at Shibuki, who crashed against her, before they dropped to the ground with a loud thud. "Not being able to kill you is rather irritating. But let's hope that can keep you two down enough time so we can get rid of the rest," Kakuzu grumbled. Before Kakuzu could decide which enemy he should take out next, that decision was made for him when he was covered head to toe by an angry swarm of beetles. "What the?" Kakuzu asked, trying to swat the bugs away. "You won't lay a finger on Fu while I'm here and I can fight," Shino said in cold anger, as with a hand motion, commanded his swarm to drain Kakuzu dry of chakra. However, the swarm of beetles had the unintended effect of hiding Kakuzu while he made a hand seal. One of the thread monsters, the one with the turtle mask, leaped at them. Water release, roaring waterfall. The turtle-masked monster opened its jaws, expelling a massive cone of water wide enough to hit both Kakuzu and Shino with immense force. Shino jumped, as he recalled the swarm attacking Kakuzu, who made no effort to move and was engulfed by the incoming torrent. "He didn't care about hitting himself with his own jutsu in order to get rid of my Kikai swarm," Shino noted, as his brain tried to formulate a strategy. "Elemental blasts of such scale will wipe my swarm away in an instant. I didn't think I'd have to resort to this jutsu so soon, but guess that the quality of the enemy demands it. You are an Aburame, aren't you?" "Very few clans use insects to attack enemies," Kakuzu noted. "If you were 5 years older, I could cash a nice bounty for your head." "Such a pity, but I can't let you live. Please don't make it harder than it should be. I'm sure you already noticed that your set of skills will be of little use against me, so let's not drag this out. Time is gold, as they usually say." "Trust me, the feeling is mutual," Shino coldly replied, as he made a singular hand seal. Aburame's secret art, giant beetle growth. Several bursts of smoke exploded around Shino, creating 8 beetles as large as Akamaru. Kakuzu, however, was unimpressed. "That changes nothing. No matter what you do, you won't be able to land a hit on me," Kakuzu confidently said. Maybe, with a hand motion, Shino directed the enlarged beetles at the Akatsuki adopted a fighting stance. Then, much to his surprise, the beetles deviated their trajectory in the last second, flying to the sides. "But I'm sure she can." Kakuzu noticed a shadow looming over him. Looking up, he saw an enraged Fu descending upon him, her fist ready to crush him into pulp. While her body was battered and had numerous bruises, she didn't look as she was unable to keep fighting. How did she recover so soon? Kakuzu thought in frustration, as he instinctively raised his arms to protect himself. "Too late to dodge, I need to harden my skin. Take this." Fu screamed, as her fist hit Kakuzu's crossed arms, unleashing all her anger into that blow. Fu felt like her fist was hitting solid rock rather than soft flesh, but she didn't mind. If Kakuzu turned into stone, she'll shatter him to bits. The force of the impact caused a powerful shockwave, while it also sank Kakuzu to his knees into the ground, cracks in the ground spreading from the penetration point. Fu the continued punching Kakuzu both arms, sinking him a little more with each hit. Sensing its master cornered, one of the monsters quickly rushed to his aid. The bird-masked creature opened his beak as it charged a devastating wind release against the Jinchuriki. "No, you won't," Shino said coolly. If it weren't for the group of giant beetles slamming against the monster, latching onto him, and devouring its chakra as well. The monster didn't scream, it seemed it was unable to, but tried to struggle against its predators by wildly shooting wind bullets in random directions, failing to hit any of the enlarged insects, who wisely positioned themselves to avoid being hit. "What?" Kakuzu asked in shock. The first creature failing its task, and being already defeated, it was the turtle-masked monster who attacked Fu with a powerful stream of water, forcing the mint-haired girl to fly away, and allowing Kakuzu to get out of the hole Fu had sunken him into. Inconceivable. How did I lose one of my heart so soon, to these children? Kakuzu thought in frustration. My greater experience should give me enough advantage to deal with these kids easily. "Fu, Shibuki-san, are you okay?" Shino asked, as both he and Fu converged with Shibuki. "I'm fine, but Shibuki doesn't look that hot," Fu said, before turning towards Kakuzu, and raising her fists in front of her face. "I'll keep the Akatsuki busy while you heal Shibuki, okay?" "You need healing too," Shino protested. Not as much as Shibuki. Now heal him already. Fu ordered. Shino decided not to oppose his girlfriend anymore, as he started to heal Shibuki while Fu went back to engage Kakuzu. Takigakure, lightning release, thunder arrows. Flying above the battle that was taking place in the village, Hinata fired several arrow-shaped lightning bolts with her chakra bow at some of the sons of Jashin. That's how the cultists called those horrible creatures that entered her range. The arrows exploded in a splash of electricity, hitting every enemy in a small radius. Had she used her lightning release jutsu from such distance, she could have hit her allies, who were fighting very close to the enemies. But with this weapon, I can shot accurate attacks at the enemy without being afraid of hitting my allies, Hinata thought, as she floated over the battlefield. Haku-kun, two coming from behind. Hinata warned him. Haku wordlessly nodded, and made several hand seals, before slamming his foot on the ground. Ice started to grow on the ground around him, suddenly generating multiple ice spikes that impaled the sons of Jashin that tried to ambush him. "Thank you, Hinata," Haku replied, as he weaved hand signs to pelt with ice blades a group of mercenaries and Jashin cultists in front of him. "Hey, do you guys know where is Fu?" Naruto asked, as he sliced more sons of Jashin with his wind blade. "I can't see him anywhere." "Hinata-heim?" Hinata nodded, and extended the range of her Tensigen to cover the whole village. Still, she was unable to find her physical body nor her chakra signature. A worried expression crept on her face. "I can't find her," she said in horror. "What? No, she has to be here. What are Kakashi-sensei and the other doing?" Naruto shouted in frustration. "There's no way Akatsuki could have get their hands on her so quick." "Hinata-san, can you scan the area surrounding the village? She might still be around here," Haku suggested. Hinata nodded, and did as she was told. As she inspected the surrounding forests, her desperation grew when no signs of human activity were found. That's it, until she saw some flickers of chakra coming from the west. Focusing her sight in that direction, she finally saw it. "There's a domed chakra barrier in the forest to the west," Hinata pointed out. "I can't see what's inside, but I have the feeling that both Fu, Team Kakashi and the Akatsuki might be there. In that case, we should go and help them. I believe the situation here is under control," Naruto said. "Indeed, those horrible creatures are retreating," Hinata pointed out. And just like she said, the sons of Jashin disengaging the Taki, Konoha or Suna ninjas fighting them, and run back to the great tree. However, they didn't look as if they were abandoning the fight, but more like regrouping to plan a counterattack. Could those beasts think complex strategies? She was taken aback by what they did next. "What?" Hinata asked. "Hinata-heim, what's going on?" Naruto asked. "They're merging. It seems that, since they have the same chakra signature, they can combine themselves and dash." Hinata's explanation was interrupted when Naruto, Haku, and their allies saw a massive black mass rise above them. The mass took a vaguely humanoid form, with a massive top body, large, thick arms, short but stocky legs, and a featureless tiny stump in place of a head. The giant creature had multiple eyes of varying sizes across his body, as well as many mouths full of sharp teeth. Several small tentacles protruded from several parts of his body, constantly wiggling as if they had life on his own. What the hell is that?" Naruto screamed upon seeing the abomination. "Our secret weapon. Behold the power of our Dark Master, you unclean infidels," a Jashin cultist said in joy. "The wrath of Jashin. A colossal avatar of our God's will, that will purge this place of the unbelievers." The massive creature took a step forward, crushing a house under his feet, and several ninja of both sides. This caused all the Taki, Konoha and Suna ninja to flee from that monster's vicinity. "We need to take that thing out of the village," Hinata said. "I know," Naruto replied, as he leaped onto Gamabunta's head. "Boss, you think you can take that creature away from here?" I'll try, but I won't promise anything. Gamabunta replied, as he went to engage the giant creature. Try to get everybody else out of my way. Gamabunta leaped out of the water, landing in front of the wrath of Jashin with a loud rumble that made the earth shake. The abomination set all its eyes on the gigantic toad, identifying it as the main threat. Moving one giant arm, the monster tried to slam Gamabunta, but giant toad proved to be more nimble than his size let on, fainted, and latched onto the creature. Hinataheim, Haku, come on, we need to help the boss deal with this guy. Let's try to finish it as soon as we can so we can move to Hep-Fu and the others. Naruto cried. Naruto's teammates nodded and jumped or descended in Hinata's case onto Gamanunta's head. Let's take this somewhere more private, shall we? Gamabunta said, before leaping high into the air, with the wrath of Jashin in tow. They cruised the skies at high speed, before falling down a kilometer or so away from Taki. The abrupt landing caused an earthquake and blasted a multitude of trees away, creating a clearing. Alright then, now I don't need to hold back anymore. Gamabunta said with a glee. Neither do we, Naruto added, as he prepared his wind blade. Back inside the chakra dome holding his bleeding, slashed stomach with one hand, Kakashi watched in confusion as Haiden licked the blood from his scythe, and changed. His skin turned pitch black with white motifs that somehow resembled human bones. The condition has been met. Not, let us begin, Haiden cryptically said as he pulled out a ritual dagger from within his cloak, and stabbed it on his palm. He used the resulting gush of blood to draw a circle with a triangle inside it around him. I don't know what the hell is he doing, but my instincts are screaming not to let him finish. Kakashi thought, as he lunged at Haiden with one hand still holding his stomach, and the other firmly grabbing a kunai. However, he was forced to cancel the attack when his Sharingan noticed the lightning monster coming at him, ready to fire an electric blast at the copy ninja, who jumped away to avoid it. Still, the monster persisted in his onslaught, and fired more electric bottles, forcing the silver-haired Jonin to continue jumping. Kiba and Tamaki had noticed what had happened, and decided to stop Haiden before he could finish whatever he was doing. Come on, Akamaru. Kiba said, riding his large dog, as they charged at Haiden. He needs to stay still to finish whatever jutsu he's planning to do. We can't waste this chance to finish him off. Tamaki said, leaping besides him. Unfortunately for them, Kakuzu still had one more monster left, the one with the tiger mask that spewed fire. And fire did spew, a massive torrent of flames, forcing Kiba, Tamaki and Akamaru away from Haiden. And done. Haiden cried triumphantly, as he started to laugh. Ha ha ha, yes. Now, Jashin-sama, accept this measly sacrifice from this unworthy servant of yours. Haiden said, almost chanted, as he raised the ritual dagger over his head. I need to stop him. He changed when he drank my blood, that means he created some sort of connection between us, and plans to use it in some way to cause me harm. Kakashi distressingly thought as he tried to avoid the demon-masked monster while rushing towards Haiden. Kakashi's hand crackled with electricity, as he jumped over the demon-masked monster. The pain in his stomach became greater the more he moved, made it even worse by all the blood he was losing. He only had a chance to top it. He forced his Sharingan to his limits in order to have a clear shot at the Akatsuki cultist. Lightning release, lightning beast tracking Fang. But he was too late. Now suffer. Haiden brought down his dagger, piercing his flesh, causing him a great pain that flooded him with a perverse sense of joy and pleasure. And the silver-haired Jonin felt that very same pain in his own flesh. Kakashi-sensei. Tamaki cried in horror. So any of you guys have any experience fighting giant monster thingies with lots of eyes, mouths and tentacles, all in places that shouldn't have any of those? Naruto asked as he eyed the wrath of Jashin, whom had recovered from the shock of the landing. The answer may surprise you, but no, Haku deadpanned. The wrath of Jashin let out a thundering roar from all its mouths at the same time, as it charged at Gamabunta while raising one of its massive arms. Fortunately, that thing telegraphs its attacks way in advance, Hinata noticed. The arm came down, and Gamabunta managed to catch it with his webby hands. However, it packed so much force, the giant toad was pushed backwards, crushing a few trees under him. His attacks might be easy to predict, but that doesn't make them any less painful. Gamabunta loudly wheezed. "Come on, do something." "First of all," Naruto said, making his favorite hand seal, as he created 2 shadow clones. "Go collect some nature energy." Obediently, the clones leaped away, and disappeared between the lush trees below. "So, anybody has an idea of how should we tackle something so big?" "Let's go for the eyes, I think they may be its weak spots," Hinata suggested, as she readied her chakra bow. Haku did the same. "Very well then. Let's go." Naruto agreed, as he and his teammates leaped from Gamabunta towards the wrath of Jashin. Naruto landed on its right shoulder, Haku on its left forearm, while Hinata stayed floating in front of its chest. The tentacles that randomly wiggled weren't there for no reason. The moment Naruto and Haku touched the monster, nearby tentacles lunged at them, wrapping around their bodies. "Oh no, you don't!" Naruto shouted, as he pulled his wind blade, and with a well-directed swipe, cut the tentacle clean, releasing him at once. More tentacles flew at him, but they ended up sharing the same fate. Haku, meanwhile, opted to make several hand seals. Ice release, walking winter. The ice ninja generated a powerful icy aura that quickly froze the tentacle restraining him. The tentacle frozen, Haku shattered it by slamming his chakra bow against it, breaking free from the appendage. "Come on, before it has the chance to get us again, attack at once," Naruto commanded. The others nodded. Lightning release, thunder arrow. Ice release, freezing arrow. Arrows of lightning and ice impacted against 2 of the creature's many eyes. Naruto, meanwhile, stabbed his wind blade on a large nearby eyeball. The wrath of Jashin let out a loud, thundering roar, as it trashed wildly, trying to get rid of its comparatively tiny but painful attackers. "Gamabunta, attack now!" Naruto shouted. "You got it, brat," the giant toad shouted, as he leaped into the air, unsheathed his katana, and delivered a vertical swipe. "Take this." Gamabunta's blade vertically bisected the monster from the stump where its head should be, right to the chest, but the blade didn't do down any further. Oddly enough, rather than blood or organs, sons of Jashin started to pour from the cut, some of the falling to the ground, others trying to crawl back into the wound and repair it, and others remained on the monster's skin, not knowing what to do. "The creature is gathering chakra. Watch out, it prepares to attack," Hinata warned. And just as the Hyuga clan had said, the wrath of Jashin opened all its mouths at once, releasing streams of blue fire. As if it had life on its own, the fire flew in arcs towards the Konoha ninja and the giant toad, who pulled his giant blade out of the monster. "Ouch! Hot! Hot! Hot!" Gamabunta shouted, as the flames made him jump back. "My skin is not made to withstand fire." Naruto, Hinata, and Haku tried to dodge it as best as they could. They noticed that, even if the flames they dodged crashed against the monster, its skin wasn't burnt, and the creature didn't appear to feel any pain. "Goddammit, is this creature fireproof?" Naruto complained. "I believe this is not normal fire," Haku conjectured, as he made several hand seals. "Water release, water wall." Haku expelled a stream of water from his mouth to an incoming blaze of blue fire, which did nothing to stop it other than slow it down a little. Haku was forced to dodge once again. Indeed. The chakra of the flames doesn't look like normal fire chakra should. "It is shaped like fire, but it's not fire," Hinata observed. "But it still burns like fire," Gamabunta loudly complained. "Maybe the skin is fire resistant, but maybe the eyes are not." Let's try to direct the flames there, Naruto suggested. Haku and Hinata nodded, and the moment the next homing streams of blue fire came, they tricked them into hitting their eyes. Greyoarg. And Naruto was right, much to his satisfaction. The creature's many mouths let out multiple high-pitched growls of pain, as it trashed wildly in order to futilely fight the pain and those who were causing it. It worked. Naruto cheered. I can see that. However, even if we destroy all the creature's eyes, I doubt we'll be able to kill it, Hinata pointed out. I know, but at least it won't use that attack anymore. Plus I have a plan, Naruto said. I'll keep this guy distracted. Can you immobilize it? Leave that to me, Haku volunteered, as he started to descend from the monster to the ground level. Though I believe this may take some time. We'll buy you that time, then. Hinata exclaimed, as she and Naruto faced the wrath of Jashin again. Electricity from Kakashi's arm flickered away, as it was replaced by an intense feeling of pain. Blood started to soak the sleeve of his dark blue shirt, pouring from a gash that hadn't been there a second before. Kakashi-sensei. Tamaki screamed. Just what did that guy do? A confused Kiba asked. Using his ritual dagger, Haiden had stabbed his right arm, a deranged smile appearing on his face as he did so. He let out a soft, but demented laugh. Ha ha ha, pine, it feels so good. Haiden moaned, sounding like somebody who was experiencing the greatest of the pleasures. He pulled the dagger from his bloodied arm. Shall we do it again? Just like I expected, using my blood, he used a jutsu to create a link between us. Whenever he suffers an injury, the same happens to me. But since he's immortal, he can wound himself all what he wants without running into any risks. In fact, he looks as if he already did this plenty of times, Kakashi thought, as he held his arm in pain. But the question is, what can I do to stop him? You know what, Kakashi? My jutsu allows me to shut down my pain receptors if I wish. But I don't want to, Haiden began. Do you know why? Because I want to know what my victims feel as I slowly erode their lives away. And the pain. Is there a more wonderful sensation? Kakashi-sensei. Kiba shouted, as he and Akamaru rushed to attack Haiden. No, stop. Haiden linked our chakra in some way. If you cause him any harm, said harm will go to me as well. Kakashi warned his student. Heh, not bad. Most people only realize what's going on when they're about to die, Haiden praised the copy ninja. Not that it's going to be of any help here either. We'll see about that. Kakashi shouted. Soldiering through the pain, Kakashi grabbed a kunai with his unwounded arm, and dashed towards the Jashin cultist. Okay, I think I know how can I incapacitate him without causing lethal harm. I only need to dash, nah. Haiden said in a chastising manner, as he drove his dagger into his right leg. The silver-haired Jonin felt an intense pain on his right leg, lost balance, and fell to the ground face first. You may not know it already, Kakashi, but you're already dead. I'm merely toying with you, milking you for all the delicious pain in your body, until I have no more use for you, and I send your soul to Jashin-sama, Haiden gleefully said. Kakashi tried to fight desperation and keep a cool head, something that was becoming increasingly difficult to do, not only knowing that Haiden could kill him whenever he wanted to, but because the increasing number of bleeding wounds was making such tasks progressively harder. No jutsu is perfect, all of them have a weakness and ways to be countered, and this can't be an exception. Come on, Kakashi, think, the silver-haired Jonin desperately thought, as he tried to scan Haiden with his Sharingan. But, unfortunately, from his position, he could only see his legs, and that strange symbol he made with his own blood at the beginning. A symbol he was standing over, could it be? Kiba, Tamaki, that Akatsuki is standing on a symbol he drew with his own blood. Push him away from it. Use shuriken with ninja wire, the masked man commanded. Haiden's expression went from sadistic smugness to utter shock in less than a second. And it was all what Kakashi needed to prove his theory right. The fuck? How did you guess that? An indignant Haiden exclaimed. You know what? Fuck it. You might have discovered how my jutsu works, but it was for naught, since I'm going to end this now. Haiden said, as he prepared to stab himself in the heart. Not so fast. Tamaki shouted. 2 shuriken with ninja wire attached flew at Haiden. Using the wire to maneuver it, the shuriken wrapped the wire around Haiden's arms, before Kiba and Tamaki pulled in opposite directions, immobilizing him. Kakashi suppressed a groan as he also felt like an invisible force was trying to rip his arms apart. His students noticed this, and hesitated for a second. Don't waver. Don't worry about me, I'll be fine. Focus on bringing Haiden out of that circle. Kakashi insisted. Kiba and Tamaki nodded, as they continued pulling Haiden back. The Akatsuki, however, despite offering no small amount of resistance, was being pulled back, slowly but surely. Goddamn! Haiden shouted, as he was forced to take a step back, but wasn't fully out of the symbol. Kakuzu. Lend me a fucking hand, you asshole. Meanwhile, at the other side of the clearing, Shino, Fu and Shibuki were fighting Kakuzu. Or more specifically, Fu was engaging Kakuzu in a brutal hand-to-hand duel while the men fought against the 3 remaining elemental creatures made of threads. Haiden's screams momentarily interrupted the fight, dragging their attention to the other battlefield. It seems that Haiden can't even finish the job himself, Kakuzu grumbled, as he caught a punch from Fu. Why do I always have to babysit that moron? Kakashi-sensei seems to be grievously wounded. If I don't help him, he might perish, Shino stated. Then go. Fu and I will keep Kakuzu busy. Shibuki told him, as he made several hand seals. Water release, water bullet jutsu. Shibuki expelled a stream of water from his mouth, to counter the turtle-masked monster's own water jutsu, giving Shino a chance to escape. Wordlessly, Kakuzu disengaged Fu, and rushed to intercept Shino, but the green-haired girl wouldn't let him. I am your opponent. Fu shouted, as she appeared in front of the rogue Taki ninja, blocking his way. Don't even dare to ignore me. Realizing that he had no way to go past the Jinchuriki, Kakuzu commanded his masked monsters to aid Haiden in any way they could. While the help arrived, Haiden continued to struggle against the 2 Konoha Chunin. You fucking brats. You won't interrupt the Jashin's scared sacrifice. Haiden protested, as he struggled to remain within the symbol of blood. Akamaru, now. Kiba commanded. With a bark of agreement, the large white dog dashed at Haiden, and bashed him in the chest with his head. Added to the force pulling him back, the immortal Akatsuki fumbled out of the symbol, before he finally fell on his back. Alright then, just to be sure, let's check if my theory is correct. Kakashi said, as he pulled out a single shuriken from his ninja tool pouch, and tossed it at the downed Haiden. The shuriken stabbed on his chest. No such wound appeared on Kakashi's. Theory confirmed. Now, to make sure you can't continue that ritual, this time, Kakashi pulled out a kunai with an explosive tag attached to it, and tossed it to the blood symbol. No! Haiden screamed. Kiba, Tamaki and Akamaru jumped away in time before Kakashi detonated the explosive note, destroying the blood symbol, and leaving a crater in its place. At that moment, Shino landed beside Kakashi, and started to heal all his wounds. I hope the time of my arrival wasn't too late, Shino stated. You couldn't have arrived in a better moment, a thankful Kakashi said. Then, his eyes grew wide upon seeing what was coming. Guys, watch out. The other Akatsuki sent reinforcements. Kiba and Tamaki saw the 3 remaining masked monsters flying at them. While the 2 Chunin could deal with them without troubles, Kakashi and Shino would be like sitting ducks for them. Kiba, we need to protect Kakashi-sensei and Shino from those things, as well as the Akatsuki. Tamaki urged, as she adopted a fighting stance. Agreed. I think that this is a good moment to use the new jutsu I've been working on for the past weeks. Shadow Clone Jutsu. Kiba said, and a clone appeared beside him. Tamaki was unimpressed. A shadow clone? That's your new jutsu? That's just the first part. Akamaru. Kiba called his dog, who rushed to his side. Both Kiba and his clone rode on Akamaru's back. The additional weight was apparent on the dog's struggling expression, before making the tiger seal. Inuzuka Secret Art, Human-Beast Mixture Transformation Three-Headed Wolf. Kiba, his clone and Akamaru disappeared in a cloud of smoke, revealing a large, white-furried, three-headed wolf in its place. The three heads let out each a bark in unison. Tamaki was still unimpressed. So, your giant wolf transformation has 3 heads instead of 2. Guess that's an improvement, she said, shrugging a little. The 3 heads shot her an annoyed stare. Okay, here they come. Tamaki said, as the masked monsters hovered over them, readying their attacks. Meanwhile, back to the forest surrounding Takigakure, the battle against the wrath of Jashin continued. Haku had descended all the way down to the ground, and from his point of view, he could now truly appreciate how massive the colossal aberration was. The ice ninja rummaged through his ninja tool pouch, until he found a soldier pill, and popped it into his mouth. Even with the pill, I might not have enough chakra to completely immobilize it, but I have to try it nevertheless, Haku wondered aloud, as his hands flew through hand seals. Here goes nothing. Ice release, encompassing mantle of the Yuki one. The temperature abruptly dropped to sub-zero levels, as the green grass and brown soil of the ground started to crystallize, soon becoming white and light blue ice. The ice quickly spread all around Haku, the trees, the rocks, and most importantly, the wrath of Jashin's legs. Though Haku was directing all his chakra towards the latter point. The giant monster seemingly realized what was going on, and tried to move one of its legs to crush Haku. However, he was too late, and both legs were frozen solid. But the monster didn't give up, and using his massive strength, tried to free its lower limbs. The ice started to crack. Oh no, you don't. Haku said, making a hand seal, intensifying the cold of his jutsu, which repaired the cracks in the ice. Naruto-kun. Hinata-san. I'll try to hold it down as much as possible, but whatever you plan to do it already. Haku yelled from below. Many meters above, Naruto was already in position, firmly on the handle of Gamabunta's weapon. His eyes were now yellow with orange eyeshadow, signaling that Sage Mode was now active. Okay Bunta, now, before it attacks. Hack it to pieces. Naruto said. Haku, get out of the way. You got it. Gamabunta replied, as he began to wind his sword back. The monster is gathering chakra again. Watch out. Hinata warned. Pieces of flesh from the wrath of Jashin's chest started to slip back, revealing a massive orange eye below. The eye started to glow with a crimson light for a few seconds, before it fired a chakra blast of the same color at Naruto and Gamabunta. Oh shit! Naruto cursed. However, Hinata got in the way between the crimson missile and its target, and using her telekinetic powers. It held it in place, slowing it down as much as she could. Naruto-kun, I am trying to, Hinata said, as she poured every ounce of her power into stopping that attack. Got it, no time to waste. Gamabunta, let's do it now. Naruto called. Alright. Gamabunta agreed, as he jumped in the air, and readied his sword for a downward slice. Here it goes. Naruto said, as he started channeling all his chakra into the giant toad's katana. The blade started to glow with a blue and white fire that swirled around it. Sage Art, Majestic Destroyer Sword. This time, Gamabunta's katana sliced through the monster as easily as if it was made of butter. With 2 precise blows, the monster was split into 3 parts, which fell apart instantly, while at the same time releasing multiple sons of Jashin, that tried to reform again. Naruto-kun, the monster will reform in a few minutes. Please tell me that your plan didn't end there. Hinata pleaded. Of course it didn't. Naruto shouted, as he jumped from Gamabunta's sword, and landed on the toad's head, and started making hand seals. I'm gonna need some oil. Alright. Gamabunta replied, as his dewlap swelled up, before releasing a stream of oil, covering the reforming monster under the sticky substance. Fire release, flame toad bullet. Naruto breathed a single fireball into the oil, igniting it, which instantly produced a massive blaze that consumed not only the wrath of Jashin and all the smaller demons that formed it, but many trees around the area as well. Its chakra it's receding. I think that attack destroyed it completely, Hinata informed, as he scanned the creature with her Tensigen. Alright then. Tell me when it's completely dead, and Gamabunta will put that fire out before it goes out of control, Naruto stated. While Fu and the others might need our help, we can't leave this place with a forest fire waiting to happen. Hinata nodded in agreement. These wounds are very deep, Shino noticed, as he healed Kakashi's gash on his right arm. Meaning that you will take some time to mend them, I know, Kakashi replied. No, I mean you're lucky to be alive. If the Akatsuki decided to forego toying with you and went for a vital spot, there would be nothing neither me not any medic could have done to save you, Shino pointed out. Guess we must be thankful Haiden is so unhinged. His partner doesn't seem to be the kind of fooling around, Kakashi commented, before his eyes opened wide. Shino, get out of here. Shino turned around, and saw one of the masked monsters looming above them. It opened its maws, and started to charge a fireball. However, before it could fire and turn Kakashi and Shino to ashes, the three-headed wolf Kiba and Akamaru fused into blasted it with a sonic roar, making it to shoot the fireball in another direction where, thankfully, nobody was standing. The wolf then placed himself in front of Shino and Kakashi as if to protect them from further attacks, and gnarled menacingly. The fire monster got back on its feet, and insisted on its attack. Opening its maws, it released a massive wave of fire at the same spot. The wolf took a deep breath, and countered it with a continuous sonic roar. The sound waves and the fire pushed back and forth, with none of them gaining ground over the other. Not far away from there, Tamaki was engaging Haiden, while Shibuki dealt with the lightning and water monsters. Though in Tamaki's case, she was mostly trying to dodge Haiden's scythe swings. Stop moving, you dumb bitch. Haiden shouted, as he tried to skewer Tamaki. Fat chance. I know what happens if you manage to get a drop of my blood, Tamaki replied. It's going to happen sooner or later. I'm immortal, you're not. I can fight for as long as I want, while you will get tired, and when you do, you'll become my sacrifice. And then that silver-haired bastard of a sensei of yours will go next. Haiden screamed, before delivering a vertical slash. Tamaki nimbly dodged it with a backflip, and the three blades stuck themselves into the ground. Haiden pulled, but the scythe didn't come out. Come on, this has to be a fucking joke. Haiden loudly complained, as he struggled to pull the scythe from the ground. This is my chance. Tamaki jumped backwards, retracted her claws, and made several hand seals. Fire release, blistering firecat. The cat Kunoichi breathed a massive wave of fire, which took the shape of a large cat, and dashed towards the Akatsuki. Haiden said, noticing the incoming fire cat, before chuckling. You really have a hard time understanding what immortal means, don't you? Haiden laughed, before letting go of the scythe, and spreading his arms. Your jutsu won't have any effect. The fire cat clashed against Haiden, exploding into a torrent of flames. And while such jutsu would have cooked any normal being alive, once the flames receded, Haiden could see that he didn't have a single burn in his body. Ha! What did I told you? Haiden gloated, before realizing that Tamaki was nowhere to be seen. Ha! Where did you go, you cat bitch? Meanwhile, Kiba and Akamaru were still trying to hold the fire monster off, but his continued sonic roar was starting to strain the three-headed wolf, and the fire was slowly pushing the sound waves back. "Shino, leave me. I don't think Kiba will be able to hold that thing for much longer," Kakashi warned his student. "Not until I'm able to heal you," Shino insisted. "Shino, this is no time for drill claw." Suddenly, a human tornado appeared out of nowhere, descending from above towards the masked monster still breathing a wave of fire. Noticing the threat too late, the fire monster was unable to move away, and the human tornado shredded the strange creature to black thread strings, and, oddly enough, blood and gore. And in the middle of all that mess, Tamaki stood, covered in some thread and blood. She smiled confidently. "Another one down," she said with a satisfied grin. "And you guys are welcome." The three-headed wolf grinned in return as well. Kakashi sighed in relief. Shino didn't say anything, and continued healing the copy ninja. Of course, the destruction of a second masked monster didn't go unnoticed to Kakuzu, who was still engaging Fu. "What? Another one of my hearts down?" Just how some brats offer such an incredible resistance, the old Akatsuki thought, as he gave his two remaining monsters a mental command. The creatures, who were targeting Shibuki, immediately left him, and dashed towards Fu, as they charged an elemental attack each. "Fu, watch out!" Shibuki warned her. Thankfully, Fu heard the warning, and her hatred of Kakuzu didn't trump her common sense. She disengaged the masked ninja, deployed her wings, and flew high into the air, albeit not too high, since the chakra dome didn't allow her to, before the elemental barrage of water and lightning could hit her. The monsters placed themselves at Kakuzu's flanks, as if they were his bodyguards. Haydn, noticing what Kakuzu was doing, also fell back and jumped towards him in order to regroup. The Konoha and Taki ninjas did the same. "Kakashi-san, are you okay?" Shibuki asked, as he went to check the silver-haired Jonin, whom Shino had finished healing. "Yes, I'm fine. Not at 100%, but I still can carry my part of the weight," the copy ninja said, as he was helped by Shino and Tamaki back on his feet. Plus the Akatsuki didn't come out unscathed either. Good job destroying two of those things. But even if by doing so we've weakened the enemy, I'm sure they'd now fight with more caution, if not fiercity, Shino noted. A cornered animal is at its most dangerous. "Don't worry, Shino. I will put those rabid beasts out of their misery," Fu stated, as she punched the palm of her hand. At the same time, the Akatsuki were discussing the course of the battle, and what would be their next move. "Just what the hell, man? How are you letting a bunch of kids kick your ass?" Haydn asked Kakuzu. "The same could be said about you. You had the Jonin's life in your hands, yet you botched it instead of finishing the job," Kakuzu fired back. "Hey, you fucker, what does there's no time to argue who's more at fault. The fact is, this fight is not going our way, and we must do something about it," Kakuzu stated. "Okay then. What's your brilliant idea?" Haydn asked. Wordlessly, Kakuzu pulled out something from his ninja tool pouch. It was a small vial with a blue liquid inside. "You're so fucking weak. Are we going to resort to that already? If you have a better solution, I'm all ears," Kakuzu replied in cold anger. "If not, shut up and drink your part." "Fine. Whatever," Haydn lazily conceded, as he pulled out an identical vial from a hidden pocket within his cloak, as both he and Kakuzu downed their contents in one go. Shibuki and Fu immediately recognized the liquid the Akatsuki had ingested. Thankfully, it didn't take long for Hinata to confirm that the wrath of Jashin had been completely destroyed. After that, Gamabunta put out the fires with a powerful water jutsu, before bidding Naruto farewell. After that, the members of the assault squad headed towards the chakra dome as fast as they could. Right now, it was only a matter of destroying the only barrier that prevented them from helping their friends. Lightning release, Thunderbolt. Hinata released a myriad of lightning bolts from her fingers, and crashed against the bright purple barrier. Multiple small blasts were produced when the electric attack clashed against the barrier. But when the smoke dispelled, the barrier was still there. No damage, Hinata pointed out. Maybe we can dig a tunnel that goes under the barrier? Naruto suggested. Hinata shook her head. The barrier goes all the way underground, forming a perfect sphere. This is no normal chakra barrier. Whoever did this, they made a very good job. I could generate a demonic ice mirror to the other side of the force field, but I'm afraid I have no way or letting you pass, Haku pointed out. The ice ninja then looked at Naruto. Naruto-kun, do you think you could use a seal to dispel the barrier? Naruto grunted, placing a hand under his chin, as he started to think of all the seals he knew, which one could be of help. Sadly, I don't think there is a seal specifically created to destroy a barrier, but the blonde then pulled out a small book, that according to its cover, was about Fuinjutsu, and started to furiously flip through the pages, as if looking for something. What is it, Naruto-kun? Hinata asked. This. Naruto replied, showing a certain page of the book to both his teammates. A chakra-dampening seal? Haku asked, reading the headline of the page. Yes. The seal is used to reduce, or even suppress completely, the amount of chakra a ninja can mold and release. It's normally used on cuffs to stop criminals from using chakra, Naruto explained. And how is that going to help? Haku asked. I'll create a sealing tag with this seal, and use it on the barrier. The amount of chakra will consume it immediately, but it will significantly weaken the area I place the seal on, which would make said area vulnerable to our attacks. Though it will only last a few seconds before the barrier reforms, so we must be quick, Naruto told them. That won't be a problem. How long do you think you'll take in making that sealing tag? Haku asked. 5 minutes, give or take, Naruto said, as he pulled out from a sealing scroll a brush, ink, and a blank sealing tag. He then made a hand seal, and created other 2 clones, as well as replicas of his sealing tools. I'll make other 2 at the same time, in case the first one fails. Very well then. Be quick, Naruto-kun. Our friends are counting on us, Hinata told her boyfriend. Shibuki, is that? Fu asked. The hero water, yes. Of course, I should have expected that Kakuzu would get his hands on it, with the village under his control, Shibuki replied. Hero water? Is the same elixir Fu drank during the fight with Gaara, right? Kakashi asked, vaguely remembering said event. Yes. It provides a temporary power boost. Due to the backlash it causes to the body once the effects wear off, we usually drink it in small doses, and only in dire situations, Shibuki explained. But since one Akatsuki is immortal and the other has multiple hearts and a modified anatomy, they don't have to worry about such effects, Shino said, being more a statement rather than a question. I'm afraid so, Shibuki uneasily replied. Once they drank their contents, they lazily tossed the vials to the ground, the soft glass shattering in pieces. The effect was immediate, and Haiden and Kakuzu were surrounded by a fiery blue aura. Oh yes. This is some good shit. Haiden hollered, as he gripped his scythe with both hands. Let's go. Suddenly, Haiden vanished and reappeared in front of a stunned Tamaki, ready to slice her in 2 with his scythe. The cat Kunoichi was unable to react in time when the weapon came down, but thankfully, Kakashi, just as quick, parried the blow with a kunai. However, the blow packed so much strength, the silver-haired Jonin was hurled backwards. The hero water made him really fast. If it wasn't for my Sharingan, I don't think I could have seen him move at such speed, Kakashi thought, as he managed to land on his feet on a large tree branch. And the swipe was so powerful, the force pushed me back. Then, in an instant, Haiden was leaping towards Kakashi, his scythe winded back. The Akatsuki had a demented grin on his face. Don't think I forgot about you. Your soul belongs to Jashin-sama. Haiden screamed, as he delivered a horizontal chop. Despite slashing thin air, the blow projected a crescent-shaped chakra blast at Kakashi, which bisected him horizontally, before slashing the canopies of several trees in its path. Haiden smirked upon seeing Kakashi's body sliced in two poof. And his smile disappeared when, after a cloud of smoke, Kakashi was replaced by two halves of a sliced log. "Goddammit!" Haiden hollered, as he childishly stomped on the ground. "You won't be able to evade death forever, you fucking heathen." Turning around, he saw the real Kakashi regrouped with his students. "Kakashi-sensei, are you okay?" Tamaki asked. "Yes. Thank goodness I got that body replacement prepared in advance," Kakashi replied. "The hero water has increased Haiden's power exponentially. With his newfound speed and strength, I believe he won't even need that ritual to kill any of us. Don't face him, only I can match him now. Are you confident you'll be able to beat him in your current state?" "Even if I healed your wounds, you lost a lot of blood," Shino pointed out. "Truth be told, no, I'm not sure. But I'm our best bet. You did a good job destroying Kakuzu's monsters, try to get rid of the remaining two," Kakashi instructed. "Yes, Kakashi-sensei," Tamaki said, as he watched her sensei facing the incoming Haiden. "Kiba, Shino, Akamaru, you ready?" "I believe I am," Shino replied. "Woof," the three-headed wolf barked in agreement. Meanwhile, Fu continued her one-on-one duel with Kakuzu. However, the effect of the hero water in the Akatsuki soon became evident, since the old Takigakure missing Nin moved much faster, and even if Fu was able to block his punches, they left her sword do the additional strength. Soon, her exposed skin was covered in bruises. And on top of that, Fu was barely attacking, and her fighting was limited to just blocking or dodging Kakuzu's attacks. "I need to put some distance," the Jinchuriki said, as she deployed her wings, and flew high into the air. Wordlessly, Kakuzu raised his arm, and shot his forearm like a missile at Fu, which remained attached to the rest of the arm through multiple threads. Fu felt how a hand caught her leg in a strong grip, before being brutally yanked downwards. But not happy with that, Kakuzu raised and slammed her against the ground multiple times, before tossing her against a tree with such force, the tree was toppled. "Did you have enough, Jinchuriki?" Kakuzu asked, as he walked towards the downed green-haired girl. "You're lucky I need you alive, or else you should would been dead already." Groaning, Fu pushed the tree branches away, as she tried to shook off the pain and got back on her feet. "Demythus doesn't look so good," Fu lamented. "Hey Fu, I think it's time to use my power, don't you think?" the Nanabi asked. "I think there's no other choice. But I don't want you to try anything funny, okay? The situation is serious." Fu chastised her tailed beast. "You have my word I won't try anything," the Seven Tails agreed. Fu suddenly felt a rush of power flooding her body. "Now go and kick his ass." A reddish-orange aura enveloped Fu's body. She slowly felt the pain being washed away, as the bruises on her skin started to heal. Her muscles swelled up a bit, as the sheer energy she was releasing produced gusts of wind. A single tail of chakra formed behind her. Fu smirked. With this kind of power under her control, she could tip the balance back into her favor. Wordlessly, the Jinchuriki charged at Kakuzu, who resumed the fistfight. The strength of both combatants was so great, every punch produced a loud booming noise accompanied by a shockwave, and the two of them moved so fast, it was almost impossible to follow their movements. An spectator would only see a pair of blurs moving across the clearing, followed by booming shockwaves. As they traded blows, their fists slammed into each other, producing a deafening boom, and a shockwave so powerful, it created a crater big enough to encompass the two fighters, before said shockwave pushed them backwards. "According to our intelligence, you weren't supposed to be able to use your tailed beast power," Kakuzu pointed out. "Your intelligence isn't very intelligent then," Fu mockingly replied. "So, you didn't plan for this, do you?" "I admit I don't. But in the world of ninjas, plans rarely unfold as intended, and thus you need to develop a sharp mind in order to rethink your strategies as you go by. Otherwise, I wouldn't have lived as long as I did, Kakuzu calmly replied. Trust me, girl, your power may match mine, but your experience is a drop of water while mine is an ocean, and that will end the battle in my favor. We'll see then. Fu yelled before vanishing. Kakuzu vanished as well, and their brutal duel continued. Meanwhile, not far away from there, Kakashi continued his clash against Haiden, who pushed the copy ninja into the defensive, barely avoiding the onslaught of lightning-fast attacks the Haiden cultist was putting the copy ninja through. You think that you can beat me being only on the defensive? Haiden taunted as he delivered a flurry of slashes. The silver-haired Jonin dodged them with an aerial backflip, landing on top of a large tree branch. Undeterred, Haiden leaped at him. He's right, I can't just defend. Even if he's immortal, I'm sure I can incapacitate him in some way, Kakashi said as he made several hand seals. Fire release, Great Fireball Jutsu. Through his mask, Kakashi breathed a massive fireball, flying in the same direction Haiden was coming. The cultist didn't even bother to dodge the Uchiha clan's signature jutsu, and plowed through the fiery projectile. Weak. Haiden laughed, as he prepared to cleave Kakashi. The sound of 1,000 birds filled the air as the Akatsuki saw Kakashi lunging at him, his right hand coated in electricity, ready to impale him. Even if he knew the attack wouldn't kill him, it would be the first step to incapacitate him. From this distance, and with such momentum, dodging is impossible, Kakashi confidently stated. Lightning blade. Or it would have been, if it wasn't for what Haiden did next. In the blink of an eye, Haiden stabbed his scythe in the ground, and used it to stop his momentum and spin around, safely dodging Kakashi, and leaving him wide open. Haiden quickly retrieved his scythe, and prepared to cut him in two. Nobody escapes Jashin's judgment, infidel, nobody. Haiden screamed, as the scythe came down. Now die. Vacuum palm. A vacuum shell appeared out of nowhere, and blasted Haiden's scythe out of his hands. The scythe was sent flying into the air, before it fell to the ground, a few meters behind the Akatsuki. Taking advantage of the momentary confusion, Kakashi turned around, and tried to thrust his lightning blade at him once again, but Haiden proved to be too fast, and jumped backwards, avoiding the attack, and landing beside his weapon. The fuck? What the hell happened? Haiden angrily hollered. Kakashi-sensei. Much to his immense relief, the copy ninja saw the team members of Kurenai's assault squad landing beside him. The copy ninja allowed himself to relax, and the tension and stress of the recent fight all washed over him. Thank goodness you arrived. I don't know about the others, but I don't think I would have lasted much longer against this guy, Kakashi said, panting a little. What the fuck? Haiden screamed. How the hell did you dipshits bypass the barrier? It's still standing, I can feel it. Your barrier was impressive, yes. But no barrier is impenetrable, keep that in mind, Naruto boasted, without giving any more details. Naruto then turned to the silver-haired Jonin. What about Fu and the others? They're fighting Kakuzu to the west, not far away from here, Kakashi replied. Hinata focused her Tensigen on the direction Kakashi mentioned, and she quickly found the other members of the animal squad, Fu, and a man she didn't recognize, fighting against Kakuzu and two weird creatures. Found them. All of them seem to be okay, but they're struggling against the other Akatsuki, Hinata explained. Kakashi-sensei, what can you tell us about the Akatsuki? Haku asked. This one is called Haiden, and his main power is immortality. Kakashi noticed the dubious looks the three teens were shooting at him. Yeah, I thought the same, but he repeatedly survived multiple fatal hits without any kind of consequence. Don't let him draw your blood. If he drinks it, he can use it to create a link with you, making you suffer all the wounds he does. He almost killed me that way. Don't let him get our blood, got it, Naruto nodded. The other well, it's a bit hard to explain. His body is like nothing I've seen before. He seems to be made of threads that move on their own and keep his whole body together. He also commands 4 creatures that can use an element each. Though my students managed to kill 2 of them, Kakashi told him. This Akatsuki's chakra flares with such intensity, it's almost like looking directly into the sun, Hinata noticed after directing her eyes at Haiden. That's because both him and his partner drank vials of Takigakure's hero water. Said water can give your body and chakra a massive boost, but the backlash it causes after the effect disappears can be crippling, even fatal, Kakashi explained. But since one of them is immortal and the other has a bizarre anatomy, they can bypass that backlash, Naruto concluded. Smart bastards. Alright then, what are we going to do? Hinata asked. I believe Naruto and Haku should stay here and help me deal with his man, Kakashi suggested. Naruto can safely fight him without the risk of drawing blood, while Haku has the necessary skills to put him down permanently, even if we won't be able to kill him. Your skills will do more good against the other Akatsuki. Understood. I better not waste any more time. Good luck. Hinata said, as she flew away towards the other battlefield. Alright, Kakashi-sensei, I guess you're in charge now. What do we do? Naruto asked. Listen to me closely, because I don't think we'll have more than one chance to pull this off. Kakashi looked at Haku. Haku, you will be key to ensure our victory. The ice ninja nodded. Hey, stop whispering among yourselves. Whatever clever plan you might come up with, it won't work. Haiden said, as he adopted a fighting stance. Hey, the blonde shit, aren't you a Jinchuriki? So what if I am? Naruto defiantly replied. That means that I won't be able to kill you. Just my fucking luck. Oh well, guess that torturing you to the point of begging me to kill you will have to do then. Haiden happily said, as he charged towards the trio. Thanks to her ability to fly, it didn't take Hinata long to reach the other battlefield. A quick scan over the and she saw Fu fighting against Kakuzu, the 2 of them moving at an almost imperceptible speed, while Shino, Tamaki, Kiba and Akamaru, fused into a giant, 3-headed wolf, and a young Taki ninja she was unable to identify, were holding against 2 of Kakuzu's monsters. Hinata focused her sight on the masked creatures. They were mostly made of some kind of weird thread, but they also had organs and blood vessels, even if arranged in a way that had nothing to do with the human body. And of course, they had chakra. Though she didn't need the Tensigen to realize of that when one of the creatures opened its mouth, and released a torrent of water towards the Konoha and Taki ninjas, which were forced to jump backwards in order to dodge. Should I help Fu-san, or Kakashi-sensei's students? Hinata internally wondered. Those monsters seem to be connected to him in some way. Meaning that if the Akatsuki is defeated, they'll go down with him. After all, it was a similar situation that the battle against Sasori. Kill the mastermind, and the minions won't be a threat. Even if pained her not to be able to help her fellow Konoha comrades, the Hyuga clan head flew straight for the brawl between Fu and Kakuzu. Her hands flew through several hand seals. Lightning release, thunderbolt. The moment Kakuzu showed an opening, Hinata shoots several lightning bolts at him from her fingertips. However, the Akatsuki's reflexes and movements were far greater than the Hyuga had anticipated, and quickly jumped backwards before her jutsu could hit him. He's fast. I thought I had a clear shot, Hinata thought. Oh, it's you. One of my Sky Sisters. Fu cheered upon seeing Hinata. Hello, Fu-san. I hope you don't mind if I join you in your fight against this horrible man, Hinata said, as she hovered near her. Not in the slightest. But I should warn you, this guy drank the hero water, a treasure from my village, and now he's much stronger than usual, so be careful. I can take his hits fine, but I'm not sure about you, Fu explained, sounding a bit apologetic. That explains why his chakra burns with such potency, Hinata replied, then she smiled at Fu, before taking a fighting stance. And don't worry. I won't be able to take hits as well as you do, but I'm very good at dodging them. Fu grinned in return, and mimicked the Hyuga. Those Ieso, you must be the new Hyuga clan head. The one who evolved the Byakugan to a higher level. The Tensigan, I think it's called, am I right? Kakuzu guessed. Hinata was taken aback by the Akatsuki's words. How do you know that? I have my sources. I knew those eyes were special the moment I saw them, Kakuzu guessed. So far, you don't have much of a reputation to have a bounty on your head yet, but I'm positive I can get quite an obscene amount of money from those eyes in the black market. Many were those seduced by greed or power who wanted to get their hands on my eyes. And as you can tell, none of them were successful. You won't be any different, Hinata stated. I bet none of them had my vast experience. While I admit that the two of you are powerful, deep down you're nothing but children that only play to be ninja, and have no idea what life is like, Kakuzu said as his hands rushed to form hand seals. Earth release, crushing avalanche. Several shadows loomed over the two kunoichi. Looking up, they saw in horror massive boulders falling towards them, prompting them to jump out of the way. But while they were doing so, Kakuzu fired his hands, which latched onto the girls' throats. The hands' skin blackened as they hardened into a stone-like substance, before the Akatsuki pulled his hands back, slowly dragging them through the ground. However, before Kakuzu could bring them closer, Hinata's body crackled with electricity, before her body released a powerful electric discharge, shocking both Kakuzu and Fu, but forcing the former to release both of them. Sorry for that, Fu-san, Hinata said, coughing a bit, as she started healing her neck. Fu said nothing, but gave her a thumbs up to indicate that it was okay, as she rubbed her sore throat. A lightning release user. Without my other hearts, that gives you something of an advantage over me, Kakuzu noted, but didn't sound overly worried. Oh well, guess I'll have to fight a bit more carefully. This should be enough. Suddenly, a multitude of threads started to burst from the scars of Kakuzu's body, wiggling as if they had life on their own. Kakuzu's hands once again flew through hand seals. Earth release, Earth clone jutsu. 6 molds of earth formed around Kakuzu, growing and eventually taking the shape of perfect replicas of the Akatsuki. Without any word from the original, the clones charged forward. You'll need something better than that to defeat us. Fu shouted, as she launched herself against the incoming attackers. Fu-san, wait. Don't rush in. Hinata called her. This is not good. It seems like the tailed beast's chakra is affecting her mind, albeit in a subtle way that doesn't make her realize of it. I better stick close to her. Something that would become hard to do since half of the clones chose her as their target, and surrounded her, ready to attack. Hinata frowned, and after quickly making 2 hand seals, her hands started to crackle with electricity. None of these clones should withstand an lightning-enhanced palm strike, Hinata mused aloud, as one of the clones lunged at her. Moving aside to dodge the incoming punch, Hinata delivered a palm strike to the clone's chest, opening a hole in it, causing it to crumble into small rocks. Just as I expected. The other 2 clones launched themselves at Hinata since she was now wide open, but the Hyuga proved to be faster than they anticipated, and with a backflip she dodged them as well. However, while she was doing so, she noticed something she hadn't seen before, chakra lines traveling underground towards both Fu and her. Following those lines, he realized they came from Kakuzu. Much to her horror, she realized the clones were nothing but a distraction. And Fu wasn't aware of this, as she happily fought against the clones. Fu-san, watch out! Hinata screamed. Huh? Fu dumbly asked. But it was too late. While Hinata was able to jump in time to avoid the mass of threads that came from underground, Fu wasn't so fast, and they tightly wrapped against her limbs. Kakuzu pulled the arm those threads came from upwards, tossing the green-haired girl into the air. He then motioned down, violently slamming Fu against the ground. Fu-san. Hinata shouted, as she dashed to help her friend. However, the clones that were fighting Fu, plus those Hinata didn't destroy, got in her way. Get out of my way. Pushing even more chakra into her hands, Hinata delivered a palm strike to a Kakuzu Earth clone that not only shattered it on impact, but created a shockwave imbued with lightning that also destroyed a clone that was behind it. The Hyuga repeated the process with a nearby clone, but the others didn't fall to the trap this time around, and dodged the ensuing shockwave. They kept the distance, but made no move to attack. They want to keep me busy so I don't help Fusan. I have to get rid of them as fast as possible. Hinata thought, as panic started to crawl her spine. Fortunately, I don't need to fight you. Hinata started to elevate into the air, as she flew above the Kakuzu clones. However, much to her shock, one of the clones pushed the other into the air, and dived at her feet first, ready to deliver a flying kick. With a quick hand motion, Hinata stopped the clone on his tracks with a telekinetic blast. However, while she was doing so, the other clone leaped from the ground, and roundhoused her in the face, making her fall to the ground. As she stood up, she glanced at Fu for an instant. Much to her horror, she saw Kakuzu now lunging Fu against a tree with such a tremendous force, the tree was toppled down. He then slowly pulled the threads, dragging Fu closer to him. The tailed beast aura had already vanished. Jinchuriki are prey hard to capture, but eventually all of them fall to Akatsuki, Kakuzu said to one in particular, as he was about to grab Fu. No. You won't get your hands on her. Hinata said as she got up, but the clone's incoming punch forced her to jump backwards. Her hand crackling with electricity once more, she thrust her palm forward. Get out of my way. The vacuum wave combined with electricity shattered the last clone into dust, as Hinata rushed past him in order to reach Kakuzu and Fu before it was too late. However, something unexpected happened. The ground beneath Kakuzu's feet started to shake, and before he had any time to react, a black mass of beetles emerged from below, engulfing the Akatsuki completely. What the hell is this? Kakuzu shouted, as he futilely tried to swat the insects away. And from within the swarm, Shino emerged, carrying Fu in his arms, and struggling with her upon realizing that her height and muscle mass mean she weighted quite more than he expected, rushing towards Hinata. Nice save, Shino-kun, Hinata praised he bug user. How is she? Shino asked, as he placed the half-conscious Jinchuriki in the ground. Despite the beating she got, her wounds aren't that grave, Hinata stated, as she scanned her. The tailed beast chakra is already starting to heal her. I'll speed up the process then. Try to cover us, Shino asked, as he started to heal the green-haired girl. Hinata nodded, as she placed herself between the two and Kakuzu, adopting a fighting stance. You won't get your hands on her again, Hinata firmly stated. I fought against ninja way stronger and more experienced than the likes of you, Kakuzu boasted. While I admit that you're far stronger than I had anticipated, you're still below my level. This time, I'm going to fight without holding back. Suddenly, the masked creatures fighting the rest of Shino's teammates and Shibuki disengaged them, and leaped towards Kakuzu. The monsters were reabsorbed into his body, but rather than keep them hidden like he did before, the Akatsuki merged with them, turning into a monstrous mass of thick black threads that appeared to be wearing a human body. Two masses of thread sprouted from Kakuzu's back, as if they were grotesque wings. The two masks appeared on each one of the wings. Let's see how well you do against this, Kakuzu said. Shibuki, Tamaki, and the three-headed wolf all landed near Hinata, Fu and Shino, facing Kakuzu's new form. The Akatsuki looked at the Konoha and Taki ninjas, and shot them an unnerving grin. Fortunately, Shino had already healed Fu, since they would need the green-haired Jinchuriki's power if they hoped to beat Kakuzu in this new form. Well, who wants to go first? Kakuzu asked. You just when you think that old man couldn't be any more gross, he proves you wrong, Tamaki stated, as she made a grimace. His external appearance is irrelevant, is the power he possesses now what we should worry about, Shino interceded. Why? Because if Kakuzu and his creatures were formidable opponents when fighting on their own, their power became even greater by joining forces. That's right, kid. The whole is greater than the sum of its parts. There are moments in which a numerical advantage is necessary, but given that you have destroyed 2 of my hearts, this form is the best approach, Kakuzu agreed. Not just that. He still is under the effect of the hero water, which now also extends to the creatures he merged with, Shibuki pointed out. You're correct once again. Now, let's see the extent of my new power, Kakuzu said, as he made a series of hand seals. The 2 masks at his sides opened their jaws at the same time. Oh shit, Fu said, as she and everybody else tensed up. Guys, prepare to run. As expected, the masks fired from their mouth a massive torrent of water and a barrage of lightning bolts. Everybody jumped aside in different directions, lest them be obliterated by the empowered elemental attack, which not only was stronger, but had a longer reach and wider radius of effect, doubling as a good means of defense. Fu. Let's go into the air. He won't be able to attack both us and the others in the ground. Hinata suggested. Fu nodded, deployed her wings, and joined Hinata several meters above the ground. You think yourself so smart, don't you? Kakuzu mockingly asked, as he directed the stream of water and barrage of lightning towards the flying kunoichi. He must think we're the biggest threat, and thus wants to take us out first, Hinata realized, as she thrust her palm forward, releasing a telekinetic pulse forward. Fu, meanwhile, formed seals at great speed. Wind release, breakthrough. Fu blew a gust of wind from her mouth that, combined with Hinata's telekinetic blast, was able to stop Kakuzu's water and lightning attack, locking into a stalemate as both attacks pushed back and forth. Now that they're keeping him busy, let's strike. Tamaki shouted, as she, Kiba and Akamaru, and Shibuki charged forward. Your naivety is almost adorable, Kakuzu stated. Suddenly, dozens of black threads emerged from underground, as they tried to wrap the charging ninja, which were forced to jump back. Let's try ranged attacks. Shibuki suggested, as he and Tamaki started making hand seals. Water release, water bullet jutsu. Fire release, blistering firecat. Shibuki expelled a stream of water from his mouth, much smaller than those used by Kakuzu, while Tamaki breathed a wave of fire that took the shape of a cat which rushed at Kakuzu, leaving a trail of embers behind. The 3-headed wolf that was Kiba and Akamaru merged took a deep breath, and let out a powerful sonic roar. This time, Kakuzu couldn't afford to treat the ground ninja as mere inconveniences, and was forced to redirect the stream of water towards their incoming attacks in order to cancel them out. However, that left only the lightning bolts to deal with Fu's wind and Hinata's telekinesis, which was unable to hold them back on its own, and was pushed back. Much to his annoyance, Kakuzu was forced to jump back in order to dodge. Well done, guys. If we attack all at once from different directions, one of us will end up nailing him. Fu cheered from above. Kakuzu, however, frowned at the muscular girl's confidence. Let me show you how little that strategy is going to help, Kakuzu snarled. Displaying frightening speed, Kakuzu dashed towards a startled Shibuki, who generated a water sword to defend himself. Tamaki and the 3-headed wolf charged from the flank. You're wide open, the cat kunoichi said, as she was about to sink her metal claws into the Akatsuki's flesh. Am I? Kakuzu mockingly asked. The masks at his sides turned at Tamaki and the 3-headed wolf, and blasted the former with lighting and the latter with a powerful stream of water, pushing both of them backward several meters. Kiba! Tamaki-chan! Fu screamed, as she dived at Kakuzu while making hand seals. Fu, wait. That's what he wants. Hinata said, trying to reach Fu, but she wasn't fast enough. So predictable, Kakuzu said in the same mocking tone, as several tendrils of threads shoot at Fu. Wind release, breakthrough. Once again, Fu expelled a gust of wind from her mouth, but her target wasn't Kakuzu, but the ground. Using the wind jutsu to alter her trajectory, Fu moved above the Akatsuki in an arc, safely dodging the tendrils, before winding her fist back, which started to swirl with chakra. Take this. Hurricane punch. Fu slammed her right fist into Kakuzu's head with such force, not only sinking the Akatsuki into a crater, but producing a shockwave and a gust of wind that expanded outwards. Kakuzu's massive threads that sprouted from his back started to wiggle. Foolish, he said. The mass of threads shaped into several tentacles that quickly coiled themselves around the Jinchuriki. However, before he could catch his prey, Fu was yanked backwards by an unseen force, and the thread tentacles only grasped thin air. The green-haired girl found herself at Hinata's side once again. Phew, nice catch. That was pretty close, Fu told Hinata, chuckling a little. His chakra seems to fluctuate before using those strange threads, Hinata explained. It may be the key to read his movements. If we can do that a few more times, I'll only need a few more hits to put him down for good, Fu confidently stated. While that may work, I believe we'll need a more effective strategy. His power is too great for a drawn-out battle, we'll need to end this in one hit, Hinata told her. One hit, Fu said, as her face adopted a thoughtful expression. Guess my punches alone won't do it. We'll need everybody here to strike at once. Indeed. Let's join up with the others and listen, this is what we're going to do. Not far away from there, at the same time, Naruto and Haku assisted Kakashi with his fight against the crazed Jashin cultist. While the copy ninja engaged him in hand-to-hand combat and Haku aided the white-haired Jonin from afar, Naruto made his favorite hand seal. Shadow Clone Jutsu. Two clones popped alongside Naruto. Without saying a word, both clones dashed in opposite directions, disappearing among the trees. Ha! You must be a pretty shitty ninja even if your clones run away from you, haha. Haiden laughed, as he delivered a flurry of swipes at Kakashi, who dodged them as fast as he could. Haku, meanwhile, made several hand seals. Ice Release, Ice Dragon Crystal Blast. Putting his hands together and casting them forwards, Haku generated a serpentine dragon made of ice that flew at Haiden while letting out a distorted roar, leaving a trail of frost above the ground he passed by. Haiden, however, wasn't impressed by Haku's jutsu. Grinning, he reared his scythe backwards, before delivering an horizontal swipe at the dragon. Take this, you piece of shit! Haiden hollered. The swing generated a crescent-shaped chakra blast that not only shattered the ice dragon, it had enough power and momentum to force through it and reach Haku. The ice ninja dropped to the ground, and the wave of chakra harmlessly passed above him. He saw how it cleanly cut a couple trees behind me. Such destructive power, Haku mumbled in awe. Did you like that? Well, that's nothing compared to what I can do now. Haiden laughed. Get a load of this. Haiden dashed at Haku at an insane speed, brandishing his blue glowing scythe above his head. Haku had barely time to generate an ice sword on both hands, and used them to parry the blow, which predictably shattered his makeshift weapons, but stopped his momentum in order to give him time to jump back. Naruto, meanwhile, took advantage of Haiden focusing on Haku to attack the Akatsuki from behind. He formed a Rasengan in his right hand. Now is my chance. Raise dash, but before Naruto could strike, Haiden vanished, and reappeared in front of him, scythe ready to skewer the blonde to pieces. How can be so fast, the blonde wondered as the scythe, glowing with chakra came down on him. But before he could be hit, the chirp of 1,000 birds filled the air, and the scythe was parried by an electrified hand. It took Naruto and Haiden a moment to notice that Kakashi had appeared between them. No matter how fast you are, I can anticipate your movements as long as my Sharingan can see them. Kakashi boasted, as his other hand crackled with electricity and thrust it at the Akatsuki, who jumped back in order to avoid it. Thanks for the tip, idiot. Then I'll make sure to gouge your eyes out. Haiden shouted. Ice Release, Crystal Blade Field. A crinkling sound warned Haiden of Haku's attacks, and jumped backwards once again before a row of large ice spikes could skewer him. So, that's your tactic, you pieces of shit? One of them attacks from the front, while the others try to catch me off guard? Or wait until I'm attacking you? Haiden asked in rapid fire, before smirking. Well, let's see if you can find an opening to attack now. Demon Cutter. Haiden dashed towards Kakashi with his scythe extended to the side, as he started to spin, becoming a razor tornado. Kakashi dodged the attack, but Haiden charged at him once again from the opposite direction. Ice release, ice barrier. Haku slammed his palms into the ground, using it as a conduct to send chakra towards Kakashi's position. A wall of ice formed between Kakashi and the Akatsuki, but the latter managed to shatter it as if it was thin glass. My ice jutsu barely faze him, Haku thought in resignation. He then perked up. Thankfully, my bloodline limit is far from the only skill I possess. While Haiden sometimes attacked Naruto and Haku, it was obvious Kakashi was his main target. This man seems to be determined to finish what he started with that ritual from before, Kakashi thought. Normally an enemy like this wouldn't be much of a problem, but with the hero water boosting his strength and speed, I don't know if we'll be able to hold out until the effects wear off. Haiden charged at him as expected, but much to the copy ninja's confusion, he removed his cloak, and tossed it at Kakashi. The silver-haired man reacted by cutting it in half with a low-powered lightning blade, but after doing it, he realized that Haiden wasn't there anymore. So if I understood correctly, all I need is to blind you for a second. You can't read my movements, right? Haiden mocked from behind, as the scythe came down on Kakashi. This time, you won't escape. But Haiden was unable to stab Kakashi, as an orange blur shot out of nowhere, delivering a brutal flying kick to his face, hurling the Akatsuki backwards until he crashed against a tree. What the fuck? The Jashin cultist groaned, as he pulled himself together. Even if he was immortal, the pain of that attack was very real. Sage mode completed, Naruto stated, as he placed himself in front of Kakashi. Leave this to me, Kakashi-sensei. My Sage mode will tip the balance back in our favor. Sage mode? Haiden asked, and noticed that Naruto's eyes were yellow with orange pigmentation around them. Oh, so that's the Sage mode that made that wimp Deidara to run away like the little bitch he is. Well, you'll find out that I'm nowhere near as cowardly. Don't mistake common sense with cowardice. Soon you're going to realize why your friend decided to flee when he saw me, Naruto boasted. Hey, that fucker and I aren't friends, we're just co-workers. Haiden protested. And didn't you hear that I'm immortal? No matter how much power you get, you won't be able to kill me. We'll see about that. Naruto said, making a hand seal. A clone popped into existence. Naruto started to form a Rasengan, while the clone infused it with wind chakra. A whirring sound could be heard, faint at first, but growing progressively louder as the jutsu started to take form. Even then, I'm not stupid enough as to take the brunt of your attack, Haiden said, as he prepared to move, but much to his shock, his body didn't move. What the fuck? Haiden started to feel very cold. Suddenly, ice started to grow all over his body, and in a few seconds, his entire body minus the head was encased in a block of ice. Thanks for lowering your guard, Haku said, as he kept his hands forming a hand seal. Ha! You think this little ice can stop me? I only need to break it with the force my chakra. Haiden boasted, as he started to release chakra in hopes of breaking the ice. What the hell? You remind me of somebody who tried the same tactic against that, and predictably, it didn't work, Haku replied. He then turned at his teammate. Naruto, go ahead. He won't move. The jutsu is ready. Naruto said, as he reared the arm holding the wind shuriken back. What the hell is going on? How can this ice be so hard? Haiden said as he futilely tried to overpower the ice with his chakra, but it felt like pushing into nothing. Wait, if this is ninjutsu, how is that I can't feel the chakra in the ice? Oh shit, don't tell me this is a Wind Release, Raisin Shuriken. Naruto threw his most powerful jutsu just as Haiden realized that the ice wasn't really there, and the ice ninja was just playing with his mind. He sent a controlled burst of chakra through his body, and the ice disappeared, but he had no time to avoid the incoming chakra shuriken. The Akatsuki's curse was cut short by a massive explosion that created a dome of powerful, razor-sharp winds that would have shredded the body of a normal man to little bits. Even then, the pain was excruciating. And Haiden only enjoyed the pain when it was caused by his demonic ritual. So, Naruto completed Minato-sensei's jutsu, Kakashi said in awe. He had heard from others beforehand of such thing, but this was the first time he saw it in action. It truly made the vanilla Rasengan look like an academy-grade jutsu. Even if I failed to do it in the past, now that Naruto opened the door, I might be able to get it this time around. When the dome of razor winds dispelled, Haiden was lying on the middle of a large crater, but his body was unharmed. Slowly and trembling, he got up. SC. It hurt like a bazillion fucking hells, but I'm not worse for the wear. Haiden boasted, his voice stuttering a little from the massive onslaught. He spread his arms to show his lack of visible injuries. Nothing that you can throw at me can harm me. The purpose of that jutsu wasn't to harm you, but to distract you, Naruto pointed out. Distract me? From what? Haiden was interrupted mid-question as ice started to creep all over his body, slowly encasing him in an ice block. Oh, I see. Another fucking genjutsu. How retarded do you think I am to fall for the same trick twice? Haiden asked in a mocking tone, as he made a hand seal, and sent a burst of chakra through his body. But much to his surprise, the genjutsu didn't disappear. He tried again, but the result was the same. What the fuck? In no time, Haiden was completely encased inside a block of ice. A realization dawned upon him. This is not a genjutsu, this is a real ice jutsu. Damn it, I need to break free. Haiden distressingly thought as he began to release his chakra from his whole body in explosive bursts. Cracks started to appear in the block of ice, but Haku made a hand seal, and those cracks disappeared. Naruto-kun, Kakashi-sensei, now's the chance. Go before he breaks free. Naruto and Kakashi nodded, rushed at the frozen Akatsuki, and started to slap several sealing tags across the block of ice. Once they judged they had placed enough, they jumped back as they made the same hand seal at the same time. Sealing trap, activate. The seal started to glow, and chains of symbols appeared from the paper tags, spreading around the block of ice, forming a net. The seals, combined with the ice, put Haiden in a state of stasis. And done. Naruto cheered. Did we incapacitate him? Kakashi asked, a bit unsure. He was still under the effect of the hero water, so it's possible that the sealing didn't take. He's no longer trying to break the ice, Haku helpfully added. So I'd said we've won this round. Naruto walked towards the frozen Akatsuki, and sneered. What about that? Just because you're immortal doesn't mean that you're invincible. Naruto, he can't hear you, you know, Kakashi pointed out. Don't take away my right to boast after a well-earned victory, Kakashi-sensei, Naruto grumbled at the silver-haired Jonin, as he crossed his arms over his chest. Suddenly, despite none of them being sensors, the trio felt a massive chakra disturbance. Looking up, they saw the purple-colored chakra dome that covered that part of the forest slowly breaking apart and vanishing. Hey, look at that, it seems that he was the one keeping that chakra dome active, Naruto pointed out. Unexpected. I never imagined this deranged Akatsuki would be skilled in barrier jutsu so complex and powerful, Haku pointed out. Skilled or not, that doesn't matter anymore. Naruto, leave a few clones here to watch over the Akatsuki, then let's go help my students, Kakashi asked. Naruto nodded, and did as he was asked. He and Haku then followed Kakashi to where the other battle was taking place, hoping that they could reach in time to help their friends. Shortly before Haiden's defeat, Fu, Hinata and Kakashi's students were still fighting against his partner. Kakuzu was still on the offensive, since doing otherwise would be a waste of the boost provided by the hero water, but his moves were more calculated than before, in order to stop his enemies from getting any more hits and ending the fight as soon as possible. Lightning release, false darkness. Kakuzu's demon-looking mask released a barrage of thunderbolts at the ground of Konoha and Taki ninja. Hinata stepped forward in order to take the brunt of the attack. Lightning release, thunder palm. Hinata's hand started to crackle with electricity, before she started to move quickly them forward in a pushing manner. Protection of the 8 trigrams, 64 palms. As Hinata's arms became blurs due to the speed she was moving them, she was able to deflect Kakuzu's electric attack, giving the others a chance to counterattack. "Come on everybody, let's go," Kiba called, as he and Akamaru dashed forward, ahead of everybody else. "Suicidal fool," Kakuzu growled. Suddenly, multiple tentacles and tendrils made of threads burst from underground around Kiba and Akamaru, and moved to trap them. "Tamaki," Kiba called. "Cat claw dash." A red and brown blur appeared out of nowhere, and slashed the emerging threads before they had the chance to tangle their prey, giving Kiba a chance to continue forward. "Thank you," Kiba said, not looking back, with Tamaki following him. Kakuzu decided to intercept them mid-charge, and dashed towards them as well. But when Kiba and Tamaki prepared to attack, Kakuzu nimbly jumped above them, avoiding their onslaught, and dashing towards a mildly stupefied Shino. "Shit, Shino isn't that good in hand-to-hand combat," Kiba angrily thought as he and Tamaki spun over their heels to pursue the Akatsuki. Noticing what was happening, Shino jumped back several times to stop the gap between himself and the Akatsuki from getting any wider. He bit his thumb as he made several hand seals as quickly as his hands allowed him, before slamming his hands into the ground. Summoning Jutsu. Kakuzu stopped in his tracks, moving aside to also dodge Kiba and Tamaki coming from behind, as he waited expectantly to see what kind of creature the Aburame had summoned. And when the initial cloud of smoke dispelled after a few seconds, revealing nothing, Kakuzu snorted. "You Konoha ninjas grow more incompetent with each generation," he mocked, before making a hand seal. "Now die." Kakuzu shot multiple tendrils made of threads in every direction, trying to either catch or skewer the Konoha Chunin around him. They tried to jump away, but they were too close to him when he launched the attack, and the mass of threads penetrated their bodies, before they were pinned to the ground. "You cost me 2 of my hearts already," Kakuzu menacingly said as he dug his threads deeper into their bodies. "So it's only fair that I take your hearts to replace them, don't you think so?" "No!" Fu screamed. "Guys, attack now!" Kiba shouted, after coughing a bit, as he tried to stop the threads invading his body from ripping his heart out. At that moment, Hinata, Fu, and Shibuki lunged at Kakuzu from different directions. Kakuzu smirked under his mask. "So, acting as decoys in order to force me to stay still. You must be so proud of such basic strategy," Kakuzu deadpanned. He then made a couple of hand seals. A neck made of threads formed under the masks, and moved away from Kakuzu. The 2 masks intertwined their necks several times, almost like forming a ribbon. "Take this." Double elemental release, lightning maelstrom, Kakuzu shouted. The masks then untangled at the same time they released bolts of lightning and a stream of water, forming a spiraling barrier of electrified water that stopped the other 3 ninjas in their tracks, and hurled them backwards. Like I said before, even if you have power and potential, your experience is pitiable compared to mine. Once I'm done with you 3, catching the Jinchuriki will be considerably easier, Kakuzu said in delight. You might have much more experience than us, but that also makes you underestimate your opponents, Shino asked, while he grabbed on the tendrils of threads and tried to pull them out of his body. Suddenly, the ground started to shake, a little at first, but much stronger later. Then, without any warning, a gigantic rhinoceros beetle emerged from underground, hurling Kakuzu high into the air, while snapping the threads that connected him to the 3 Konoha Chunin. "Now I believe it's your time to attack," Shino told the others. Shibuki made several hand seals. Water release, water shuriken. The young Takigakure leader created several water stars which flew at the Akatsuki. Hinata, meanwhile, unfolded her collapsible chakra bow, and fired several electric arrows at the flying Akatsuki. Being unable to maneuver while he was mid-air, Kakuzu could only wrap the mass of threads around himself in order to form an improvised protective cocoon to shield himself from the incoming projectiles, before finally falling to the ground with a loud thud. When he undid the makeshift cocoon, he saw that Hinata had somehow crossed the distance that separated them, and slipped into a fighting stance. "You're within my field of divination. 8 trigrams, 64 palms." Before the Akatsuki could react, Hinata moved to deliver Kakuzu a series of soft but painful finger strikes. Even with all his body modifications, he still has a chakra network, and thus he still has tenketsu. They might be arranged in a different way than a normal human, but as long as I can see them, it doesn't matter. Kakuzu, meanwhile, tried to defend himself from the Hyuga's onslaught, but was finding to control both his chakra and the threads that made up most of his body increasingly difficult. He tried to move in order to block the hits, but Hinata's fierce attacks disrupted his motor coordination, and was unable to. "This is bad. If she seals all my tenketsu, I won't be able to dash 64 palms." Hinata shouted, as she finished her combo with a palm strike to the chest, pushing Kakuzu backward several meters. Breathing heavily, Kakuzu tried to stand on his feet. The effect of the hero water had vanished, unable to resist Hinata's onslaught. He tried to gather some chakra, but was unable to. Panic started to set as he realized he was defenseless against the Konoha and Taki ninjas. "I need to reopen my tenketsu," Kakuzu realized, as he focused on a few of his sealed chakra points and tried to force them open. "If I can gather some chakra quickly, attack now," Hinata commanded. Before Kakuzu realized, 2 human tornadoes flew at him from opposite directions. Instinctively, he aimed his masks at each of them, ready to blast them with water and electricity. But when the masks opened their mouths, nothing came out of them, realizing a second too late that he had no chakra, and a second too late to change course of action and dodge. Passing Fang. Drill Claw. The 2 human tornadoes known as Kiba and Tamaki slammed against the masks flanking Kakuzu, shattering them, as well as shredding the external shell of interlocked threads, destroying vital organs, and a heart each. And before the Akatsuki could time to reflect on losing 2 hearts at once, a shadow loomed over him. Forcing himself to look up, he saw Shino riding the giant beetle he had summoned earlier, diving at him. The Akatsuki was able to react in time and grab the beetle's horn before it could skewer him alive, but the force of the charge pushed him backward several meters. Shino then commanded his beetle to go back into the sky. Kakuzu thought that he was getting ready for another charge, but what saw next told him otherwise. The green-haired Jinchuriki was charging at him, holding a rather large tree. One of those toppled during the fight, with both arms, resting against her shoulder as if it was normal weapon. It was easy to guess what she planned to do with it. "I'd say something witty now, but I'm way too angry for that, so just die already." Fu shouted as he swung the tree as if it was a mere club against Kakuzu. The Akatsuki was hit with such force, it was launched high into the air, until it slammed against the force field he and his friend had erected either. The gravity did the rest, and Kakuzu's barely alive body fell to the ground. A moment of silence happened as everybody gathered around Kakuzu, but kept their distance for obvious reasons, and stared at his fallen form. "Is he dead? Did we win?" Kiba asked. Hinata shook her head. "I can still see his chakra. But I'm afraid he won't live for much longer," Hinata helpfully said. "Should we try to keep him alive and take him to Konoha?" "To have a live Akatsuki prisoner would be invaluable," Shino suggested. Hinata shook her head. "In any other cases, I'd agree with the idea. But this man has proved himself to be too dangerous. Yeah, you saw what he can do. I doubt any of our cells in Konoha would be able to contain him for long, Tamaki agreed with Hinata. We kill him then, Kiba concluded. Anybody willing to deliver the finishing blow? Fu grabbed the fallen tree again, and slowly dragged it towards Kakuzu. Despite the lack of words, the message was clear. How, Kakuzu began, his voice sounding more like a croak. A pool of blood started to form around his broken body. How Ninjaso Young could have beat me, it isn't obvious. You just forgot to take your pills, old man, Fu said with a dark scowl, before it was suddenly replaced by a sunny, bright smile. Oh, I did it, a witty one-liner. They do come better when you're calm. And here's another one, enjoy this, natural remedy. Displaying once again her monstrous natural strength, Fu raised the large tree above her head, before slamming it against Kakuzu's body with such force, it created a small shockwave, followed by a land tremor. I can't see his chakra anymore. He's dead now, Hinata confirmed. No shit, I could have reached that conclusion myself without needing to see his chakra, Kiba deadpanned, as he crossed his arms. Suddenly, there was a loud noise coming from above. All of them instinctively looked up, and saw that the barrier that kept them trapped was breaking apart and dissolving. The barrier is gone. That means that Kakashi-sensei must have defeated the Akatsuki with the scythe. Tamaki cheered. At the same time as we defeated this one. How convenient, Kiba observed. Now is not time for sarcasm. We should meet with Kakashi-sensei. I presume that Naruto-san and Haku-san aided him in the fight, Shino guessed, confirmed by a nod from Hinata. They might be wounded and in need of medical assistance. Fu and I will stay here watching over the Akatsuki's body until somebody takes it away. Though I doubt he'll go anywhere, Shibuki told them. A few minutes later, the two groups met with each other at the side of Kakuzu's defeat. They were all happy to see that they were okay and had defeated the other Akatsuki. It was quite a surprise when several Naruto clones appeared carrying a block of ice covered in seals with Haiden frozen inside. By the way, do you know how was the battle in Taki going before the Akatsuki lured you here? Shibuki asked. I believe we were winning, Shino replied. Though it's likely that without the Akatsuki leading and supporting them, the forces they gathered wouldn't be of much help against the combined might of several ninja villages. Yeah, not even summoning that giant monster was enough to stop us. Naruto cheered. What giant monster? Tamaki asked. There was a giant monster. Fu excitedly asked. Come on, let's go back. If we hurry, I might be able to see it. The monster no longer exists. Naruto-kun, Haku-kun and I destroyed it, Hinata told her. Fu's face fell, as she slumped forward. Damn, she weakly cursed, as she kicked a pebble away, before Hinata patted her back sympathetically. Kakashi then walked towards the group, holding a storage scroll. Alright, I already stored Kakuzu's corpse or what was left of it, inside this scroll. Kakashi raised the scroll for everybody to see. And with his partner on ice, I believe we're already done here. Let's return to Takigakure and see how things are going there. Yes sir, everybody chorused in unison. As they began to walk away, Kiba noticed that Fu went back, and grabbed the uprooted tree she had used to smash Kakuzu, and rested it over her shoulder. Fuhat, are you doing? Kiba asked. I'm taking it home. It was very useful. I think I found my weapon of choice. Fu happily said, patting the tree with her free hand. Your weapon of choice. You plan to fight with a tree? Kiba incredulously asked. Fu scowled at him, as she slammed the tree down for added emphasis. Yeah. Got a problem with that? Kiba wasn't going to argue with a girl who could lift and swing a large oak as it was a mere club. Half an hour later, the group arrived at Takigakure. Much to their relief, the battle had already ended, with Akatsuki's forces defeated. The Konoha, Suna and Taki joint forces had occupied the village, and were now putting out the fires that had been caused by the battle, taking the wounded to the makeshift infirmaries, and rounding up all the thugs, mercenaries, and cultists that didn't die and were unable to run away once it was obvious that the battle was lost. However, even if they had won, Shibuki and Fu couldn't help but feel a pang of sadness upon seeing how their once beautiful village was so ravaged, with damaged or completely destroyed buildings everywhere, craters and burn marks splashing the streets, and dust and debris everywhere. "Our villagius ruined," Shibuki moaned, as tear fell down his cheek. "Yes, but it's nothing that can't be fixed," Naruto interjected. "Look, it seems that most of the Taki population survived. That's the most important thing. Even then, what are we going to do now?" Shibuki asked. "It isn't obvious." "Start rebuilding," Kakashi pointed out. "Listen, we in Konoha are no foreigners to the concept of our village getting trashed. During the past decade and a half, we were attacked by the Nine Tails, had to put down an Uchiha upheaval, and fend off an invasion by Hokage. But we always remained strong, rebuilt and moved forward. Yeah. If we can do that, then so can you." Kiba cheered. "It's not that easy. Konoha is a great village, Taki is not. We don't have that many resources. We were never that strong even at our most powerful," Shibuki insisted. "So? We will help you. That's why we're allies," Naruto stated with a smile. "Hey, look, Shibuki-sama is back," a Taki ninja noticed. "Yes, it's Shibuki-sama," another added. "Not just him. Fu is also back," a civilian man said. "They finally defeated those horrible Akatsuki," a civilian woman said. Soon, a large crowd formed around the newcomers, that cheered Shibuki and Fu's names in unison. The young leader was amazed at how the gloomy post-battle mood suddenly shifted in the opposite direction the moment they returned. Especially since, even if he helped taking down Kakuzu, it's not that his assistance was decisive. "Shibuki," Fu said, managing to be heard among the cheers. She held both his hands, and looked at him into the eyes. "Even if we won and our home is ours once again, our job here isn't done. Like our Konoha friend said, we need to rebuild. And the people of Taki need a leader. We need you, more than ever. And if you think our village is weak, then work to make us stronger. And if you think your leadership isn't up to the challenge, then work to be better leader." "Wow," Shibuki said in awe, before chuckling. "When did you become so smart?" Fu shot him a playful scowl. "What do you mean? I've always been smart. Anyway, now that the battle is over, we should send a message to Hokage-sama so he can decide what to do next," Kakashi said. Amigakure, sitting alone on the edge of the top of tower, Pain, the Akatsuki leader, looked the industrial-looking ninja village below. It was his favorite pastime. He didn't know why, but looking over the village from such height was something enthralling to him. Maybe because there was a time in which said village made him feel small. And now, said village was under his control. Much to his annoyance, Pain wasn't alone for long. And it wasn't his faithful companion Conan who disturbed his peace, but a spiraling vortex, from which a certain Uchiha emerged from. Pain, Obito stated, being one of the few people that didn't address him with the Sama honorific. In private, at least. "Obito," Pain replied, as he stood back on his feet. "What do I owe this visit?" "I came here to tell you several news. The first one is that Kakuzu and Haiden have been defeated, and Taki has been liberated," Obito stated. "Kakuzu has been reported dead, while Haiden has been neutralized and captured. He's being taken to Konoha as we speak." Pain's stoicism didn't falter as Obito gave him the bad news. 2 more members lost after Sasori's death was troubling indeed. "I see. Anything else?" Pain asked. "Yes. I'm planning to capture a Jinchuriki myself," Obito stated. Given the recent developments, I believe we shouldn't take this so slowly. Which one? Pain asked. One from Kyumo. I have a plan that will make at least one of them leave their hideout and go into the light, where they can be captured, Obito explained. And I think it's about time we put our newest asset to use. Do you think it's a good idea? Doing so would draw even more attention to Akatsuki, Pain replied. More than it already has? Everybody knows we have three-tailed beasts under our control. We kidnapped and nearly killed the Kazekage's son, and Haiden and Kakuzu took over a minor village. I believe the time for subtlety has long passed. We should try to capture the remaining Jinchuriki as soon as possible, before the ninja villages decide to join forces against us, Obito explained. I find that unlikely, Pain stoically replied. The great villages are too unwilling to let go of their grudges, and too willing to use them to restart wars. Even the current alliances are tenuous at best. Except it already happened. The reason behind Haiden and Kakuzu's defeat and Takigakure's loss was Konoha and Suna joining forces to liberate it, Obito replied. And from what my informants told me, Kiri would have joined the battle as well if it wasn't for logistical problems. To have all villages united against a single enemy, would that be a way to peace better than the one we're walking? Pain pondered, unclear if he was being rhetoric or if it was a genuine question. Obito shook his head. The peace will last as long as there's a common enemy. The moment the threat goes away, old hatreds will resurface. That's the way it has always been. Thought so. Fortunately, this cycle of hatred has its days numbered, Pain agreed. Though you'll have to excuse my skepticism in your ability to capture a Jinchuriki. All your efforts to get the 9 tails ended up in failure. I know. My repeated attempts at capturing it made Konoha aware of our intentions, and increased their protective measures. That's why I'm going after a Jinchuriki nobody has ever dared to touch, Obito explained. I will be taking Kisame with me as well, just to be sure. Very well then. May you be successful in your endeavor, Pain told him. What about you? Don't you plan to capture any Jinchuriki yourself? I know you're needed running the organization, but soon we will need the power of the Rinnegan, Obito reminded him. What you say is true, but it should be unwise to reveal all our cards yet, Pain replied. Let the villages think that they can handle us before they realize how outmatched they are. Very well then. But try not to stay idle too long. The sooner we finish this, the less risks there will be, Obito replied. I'll go and make the preparations for my trip. And with that, Obito disappeared into a spiraling vortex, leaving Pain once again alone with his thoughts. 3 days later, as Jiraiya promised, Konoha, Suna and Kiri would lend their help in order to rebuild Takigakure. It would take a lot of time to leave the village in a state similar to the one it was before the Akatsuki arrived, but the morale overall was high. In fact, the Hokage himself went to see the village, and organize the rebuilding efforts. So, are you sure you want to stay? Jiraiya asked Naruto. The reconstruction could last quite some time. I've talked with Hinataheim and Haku, and they both agree with me. We want to help Taki, Naruto confirmed. As you wish. I thought you'd prefer to something less long-term in case Akatsuki shows up again, Jiraiya told him. Hey, with my shadow clones, we'll speed up the reconstruction efforts a lot. The village will be good as new before they realize of it. Naruto cheerfully said. As father and son were talking, they realized they were approached by Shibuki and Fu. They both had a solemn look in their faces, almost as if they were going to give Jiraiya and Naruto some sort of bad news. Upon getting closer, Shibuki was the first one to speak. Hokage-sama, let me tell you how grateful I am for the help you and the other villains are providing to Takigakure, Shibuki said, making a slight bow. No need to thank me. We're allies, and allies help each other, Jiraiya said with a hearty chuckle. I know that's why it pains me to do this, Shibuki said, averting his gaze. To ask for more after all what you gave, come on, I'm sure it won't be that bad, Jiraya reassured. What do you need? It will take time before Taki recovers some of its former strength. But even when before this invasion, we were unable to stop Akatsuki. If it wasn't for Konoha's timely intervention, Fu would be dead right now, and the 7 tails in the Akatsuki's hands, Shibuki began. Jiraiya and to a lesser extent, Naruto, started to see where this was going. What I want to ask you is, would you mind letting Fu stay in Konoha until this crisis passes? I'm afraid that she won't be safe here anymore, Shibuki asked, almost in a pleading tone. Yes, I know I'm asking you a lot. You already have a Jinchuriki, and another one would be like placing an even bigger target on your village. But honestly, I don't know what to do, and you're the only ones I can trust with this. I don't think there would be any problem. Keeping Jinchuriki safe is of everyone's interest, Jiraiya admitted. What about you, Fu? Are you okay with leaving your home? Fu nodded, though Jiraiya could see there was some regret in her body language. It's not an idea I like, but given what Akatsuki did to my home when they looked for me, Fu stated, as she rubbed one arm. Though I can't help but feel guilty if something happened to Konoha because of me. Akatsuki already has Konoha in its sights because of me to begin with, so there's nothing you should feel guilty about, Naruto stated, patting her on the shoulder. Fu forced herself to smile, and nodded. If you say so, she replied. Albeit I'm not going to go immediately. I want to stay here and help with the reconstruction effort. I'm really good at lifting heavy stuff, she happily added, as she flexed her biceps. Naruto laughed awkwardly. Yeah, Hinataheim told me how you defeated Kakuzu, and while I'm in Konoha, I can continue my Jinchuriki training with you and Hokage-sama, so when the Akatsuki send another pair of goons to get me, I'll be even better prepared, Fu added. Good to see that you're eager to continue. Anyway, it seems the situation here doesn't require my presence anymore, Jiraiya concluded. So I'll be going back to Konoha. We'll better get going back. The sooner we get to work, the sooner we'll be able to return to Konoha, Naruto said. Fu nodded, and the 2 Jinchuriki left and joined their friends, already working hard on the reconstruction efforts, and enjoy their peaceful time together while it lasted. And it wouldn't last for too long. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button and subscribe for more content. Support the original author by clicking their profile link in the pinned comment of the first video of this series. They deserve the love. Want early access and exclusive content? Join my Patreon community, link below. Your support fuels these videos. Drop a comment with your thoughts, and I'll catch you in the next video. Stay entertained. Stay safe.